We're live. So we'll call the meeting to order, and we respectfully acknowledge that we live and work in Mi'kmaq as steward of the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are all treaty people. And just before we get started, student government will be here with us today, but they're not. They're leaving the school at 9 o'clock. So when they get here, then we'll get them introduced and all that kind of stuff. So approval of the agenda and order of business, and I have a few items. We have a new motion concerning the Mike Keddy property, just a slight revision to the one that's in the package. Abdallah wants to talk about flower baskets over Wild Rose Park, and Tim wants to talk about the NSFM conference and his visit to New Ross. Anybody else have anything they want to add? And here's our solicitor. He's generally speaking slightly late.
Slightly.
Yeah. So if there's nothing anybody else wants to add, a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Abdallah.
Second.
Seconded by Sharon. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Public input, that people that do not have appointments to speak? No? That's a pretty good start. Okay, minutes of the previous meeting. Council, April 24th. Errors or omissions? Somebody want to move? They be moved by Tom, seconded by Clarissa. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Special council minutes, May the 5th. Errors or omissions?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Moved by Sharon, seconded by Abdallah. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Make sure. Oh no, it's not till 9 o'clock, so we can move on. Okay, proclamations and designations, 6.1. Request for decision, Accessibility Awareness Week. Flag, oh,
Yeah, so it's actually Nova Scotia Access Awareness Week, not accessibility, but May 25th to May 31st is Nova Scotia's Access Awareness Week, and so there's a request from our regional accessibility coordinator to raise the flag for Access Awareness Week and to read the proclamation as part of the annual awareness strategy being implemented. And the proclamation is included in your package.
so are we to read that now?
I think it's just.
Yeah.
It just,
Or you can just approve it.
Just approve it.
Usually you just approve it, yeah.
yeah. Somebody prepared to move that we approve that?
So moved.
Moved by Abdallah. Seconded by Tom. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. 6.1B, I'm on to 7. Okay, nominating committee, Councillor Bremner.
Thank you, Warden Weber, through you to the council. We had a meeting on April 24th, and as you'll see, there were 3 items we dealt with. The appointment of 2 Recreation Facilities Committee, that we recommend Michelle Roy be appointed as a public appointment to the Recreation Facilities Committee. Can I handle all this together as well?
Yes, you
Thank
can.
And then the second item was that I recommend to council that members of the Recreation for approval, Ivan Fitch representing Chester Minor Hockey and Jeff Lamb representing Chester Curling Club. And the third item was that recommend to staff to advise that the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusive Advisory Committee member who has moved out of the municipality no longer qualifies to sit on that committee. As stated, that member must live or work in the municipality. Those were the items we.
So you're moving the
I am
approval?
moving that approval.
Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Tom, or no, by Abdallah, actually, has his
Sure.
hand up for discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, the motion's carried.
Thank you.
And 7.2, Lunenburg County Senior Safety Program. Councilor Connors, what's going on?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, actually, in all seriousness, high numbers, continue high numbers, referrals from partner support agencies, family members, and also individuals that reach out, certainly with not a referral, if you will. We continue to have a great impact by the coordinator. When I say we, I didn't mean me as a board member, I meant the chair, the coordinator, serving all of Lunenburg County, and the report has been in your package for a bit, so again, really just business as usual.
Any questions, anybody? No? Wendy, are you guys ready?
Wendy's not here.
Not here.
So Liz is going to present, I think.
Oh,
this way.
okay. Well, I'm
She's here,
just,
she's here.
I'm just looking after me, reading my agenda.
So thank you very much. You're not used to seeing me here for this. You're used to seeing me as Bonnie Lee, but I'm not Bonnie Lee today.
Oh, well.
So Wendy approached council to make a brief presentation about the Dr. John M.T. Finney Memorial Fund. Put your hand up if you ever heard of it.
I heard of it.
Right. Well, it's been around since 1946. It's named in honor of my great-grandfather, Dr. John M.T. Finney, who was born in 1863 and died in 1942. And in the early 1900s, he discovered Chester, from a friend, and came here, and I just picture that, coming to Chester in the early 1900s and how you had to do that from Baltimore, Maryland. But anyway, it involved a few modes of transport. And there's a little island down in where the harbors meet with a gray house on it, and that's the property that he bought when he came, called Little Fish or Finney's Island.
Yeah.
So why is there a fund here in Chester? Well, he was a surgeon and a physician, and while he was here on vacation and had to escape this far away to really escape his vocation, he ended up becoming known as a doctor. And while he was out fishing in his little boat or off of his wharf, people quickly learned who he was and would show up. And they would show up looking for medical help. And this is a time long before medical insurance and what we have today. But he would perform appendectomies on his dining room table. He would go to people's homes and do whatever needed to be done. And he did it without cost, or people would bake him a pie, right? So after he died, some of the family members thought it would be really good to help to meet this need in the Chester area by creating a fund. And so the Finney Fund started in 1946. And it is to provide financial assistance for residents of the Chester Municipality and the Tancook Islands, because it was often people coming in from Tancook who found him as well, for uninsured medical expenses, which would otherwise cause financial hardship. So I know that's a mouthful, but now that we have MSI, our medical coverage, and we have some pharmacare, and we have some dental care for some, the needs have shifted for the fund, but it still can provide a lot of assistance for people in our area. So items that are eligible are things such as uninsured prescription medicine costs, mobility devices like walkers or specialized supports, medical devices like therapeutic mattresses, CPAPs, glasses, transportation costs, which are provided through gas cards, uninsured medical care. So if you need access to mental health professionals or physiotherapy, but you don't have insurance or the financial means to get those things, the fund can help with that, as well as some medical procedures. There's like dental work for some is out of reach, even with the new dental care plan. It still doesn't quite meet some of the needs. So we have helped people from a number of communities in the municipality go actually to the Dal Dental School, to their clinic for treatments that would otherwise be exorbitantly expensive. And in that process, we've either provided gas cards or we've coordinated with Community Wheels to help get the people there and back. So it is a means-tested fund, so we do ask people for their personal income, but also their household income, their number of dependents, and applications need to be signed off on by a healthcare provider. So that can be a family physician, a specialist, a nurse practitioner, a dentist, you know, whoever is the most appropriate healthcare professional. I've provided a copy of the application to Emily, and I can also email a PDF that can be circulated. But I think it's really valuable because you guys are on the front lines. You hear from a lot of people. So if you meet somebody who you think, this might be something they could access, the application process is easy. They complete an application. There's also a Google form that I will make sure that you receive. So it can be done by email, electronically, or it can go old school paper. And the applications can be completed and dropped off in person to Holly D'Entremont, who's a board member and works at the pharmacy behind the counter, to Shannon Beck, who's a board member and is at the Scotia Bank here in Chester, to Wendy Shepherd, who's our chair, who of course you can find on Wednesdays at the Lighthouse Food Bank, or they can be emailed to the Finney Fund address, which is on the application, or if anyone has questions, they can call me at home, and that number is provided on the application as well. So we're really just here to raise awareness. We've noticed, we used to have a lot of applications, and at one point it was hard to keep up with the requests. And now the applications have gone down, and we don't know if it's because there's no need, and I highly suspect that's not the case. But I think it might be that there's been a high turnover. So we've met with physicians, we've met with other healthcare providers to make sure they're aware. The bank is aware, the pharmacy's aware, the food bank's aware. So we thought it would be great to make sure that you guys were aware as well, so that if you meet people, you can send them our way if they need a little bit of extra help.
I'm glad you came in and told us. I mean, I was aware of it, but I mean, do I think about it very often when people call me? No. So now I'm glad you refreshed my memory that there is that it's a service that's out there that's available to people. Because I mean, you're right. We do hear from a lot of people about a lot of things, but healthcare is one of them. And in a general sense, we aren't able to really help them, but being able to direct them to you is significant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are lots of different, all those things I've listed of areas that assistance can be provided. We've provided that to people in the community in the not too distant past, and some more very recently. So those are eligible. There may be others, so if it's not on the list, it doesn't mean we won't do it. It just means that it will require a little more review by us to make sure that it's an eligible expense.
Yeah. Tina?
Do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy you're here. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
One thing that came to mind would be 211.
Mm-hmm. It's listed in
Excellent.
211.
Very good.
Yeah.
Because I know that I reach out to 211 a fair amount, either on behalf of individuals or with individuals on a speakerphone calling together. And I know, just seems to be recently, I've done a good number of the ambulance relief program applications. Is that?
Yes.
I know that's already covered with, based on level of income and so on, that they are able to have relief from the cost of an ambulance. But that would be something too, I guess, if it didn't meet that threshold, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that income threshold is.
I can't remember
compared to
either, but
yours. So yeah, so just, it's really good to know about this program. Again, for me, it's a tool in the toolkit, and so I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
We also have met with the cancer care coordinators and social workers at the hospitals, so they're aware as well. And we receive a lot of our inquiries through those areas. Great. All good?
We have a bunch more. Tom wants to ask a question, Abdullah wants to ask a question or make a comment,
Great.
and Sam has a question.
Sure. Go for it.
Go ahead.
Tom, yeah.
Thank you, Warden Weber. Elizabeth, thank you. And I want to recognize this family has contributed in many ways in our municipality. My grandparents spoke very highly of the gentleman you're speaking of and your great-grandfather, and it's been an amazing contribution to, as well as other members, particularly those that came in the early days from America.
Yeah.
United States and made our community a much more healthier, safer, a group of people, and I hope this continues to happen, that meet for months of the year, that rekindle their friendships, rekindle their things, and health is most important. So I do compliment you, and I would take this electronically, and anyone that wants to reach out to me, I'd be glad to support and make this happen. So I want to recognize that value, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have a long relationship with your family, and it's a very good commitment.
Della?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I wasn't aware of this till about a month and a half ago, when Wendy called me, and we had quite a conversation, and I'm hoping that's what spurred her on to come and do the presentation, because I wasn't aware of it at all, and I mean, everybody has an experience or knows somebody who has had an experience, and you know, the bills don't stop, you know, and so this, yeah, I'm really glad you come in, and I think it's a great, as Tina said, tool in the toolbox. Because you won't get, sometimes you'll get, people won't call you and say, you know, this is our medical issue, but you know it in the community and you can approach them as a counselor, so thank you.
Sam?
Is there a dollar limitation on how much you support people?
There is, and I should know it off the top of my head. It's, I want to say that it's $500 per application, and you're allowed to apply, like you're allowed to apply more than once. So at the moment, that's what the threshold was. That was also set at a time when we had much higher demands. So we do consider exceptional cases, but generally we start with a top limit of 500. And with many of the programs that are out there, that seems to be an amount that really helps people. But we have assisted with various mobility items that have cost more. And we've also had clients who have applied like many times. And we continue to review those requests as they come in and see what we can do.
Yeah, circumstances are always,
And it changes, right? There was one instance where somebody's income may have been above the threshold we normally assist, but because of the nature of what was going on in that family and the intensity of the medical condition, we
Exceptions.
decided that that was an exception. There's been other cases where we try not to enter into what I'd call like a chronic support. We try to support more acute needs, but there's been cases where there's somebody who needs support like on a more or less ongoing basis, and we've done that as well. So there's always exceptions, but yeah.
anyone else, any questions, comments? Not, thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you for what your
Thank you.
family's done to the
Yeah,
community.
and I'll send those other documents through. Great.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to 9.1, Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. Who's dealing with this one?
Yeah, and Jonathan might be in, but I can start with it. So this is a request for decision for consideration of an amendment to the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. And I'm just going to open up his request for decision. So there are three recommendations. One that council give first reading to the amended, here he is.
There he is, Jonathan. You can do it.
Yeah, I got a text from Tara. It's like, where are you?
It's too bad the kids are missing this kind of stuff, yeah.
All right.
Anyway, there's nothing you can do about it.
So this is, as you know, this is some revisions to the PACE program bylaw and as a result policy, and also this is where Clean is looking for renewal of the agreement between the municipality and Clean Foundation to extend the program. One note I will say about the program with Clean is that we've been operating on an annual basis, and there is an option if council so chooses to extend that to a multi-year, or you can continue on a year-to-year That's entirely up to you. So the amendments, there's two principal, well, the main amendment, it relates to discussion that came out of what we've been working on in respect to the water supply and septic system program. And that was, in particular, the amending what constitutes a qualifying property. So in this case, the council gave a go-ahead. This was based on some discussion and review back in December. We're going to open it up to not just residential properties, but also properties owned by not-for-profit organizations. So as a result of that, we have the amendments to the bylaw, and then that as translated through to the concurrent or related amendments in the policy. In addition, the policy also outlines certain restrictions around eligible actions that can be done. So there are some restrictions, there are some qualifying statements, because the whole purpose of the PACE program, as it applies to residential properties, is to ensure that it's a worthwhile investment, that the ratio makes sense in terms of cost savings versus investment in the upgrade. So the way forward with larger community buildings would be to sort of assume that it may not work, that you may not get that cost savings ratio, that 1-to-1, but then that would be part of the discussion between Clean and the not-for-profit organization to determine if they want to go ahead, because there'd still be benefits to it, it just wouldn't reach that ratio. So there's caveats in the language or in the policy that address those kinds of those exemptions in respect to not-for-profit buildings. But other than that, the principle remains the same, the program, the administration of it, the goals, it all remains the same. So that's the flow through there, and then the tweak in the bylaw is, again, that came out of the development of the draft water supply and septic system bylaw, is in respect to what happens when there's still a lien on a property and that property is sold. So following legal review, we basically, it's the same provision, you can pay out or you can transfer it over, but we just flipped it. So then the starting block is that you would pay out, but if you wish to transfer, you would apply to or request the municipality to do that, and there would be that review to ensure that the new applicant is still eligible for the program. So those are the changes in a nutshell. Any questions?
Oh, we've been through it.
Okay. So you're good with the amendments to the, so basically what we're looking for, let's
First reading.
First reading of the amended bylaw, and then first notice of the amended policy.
Somebody want to move that? Tom?
Board member also move that.
Seconded by Sharon. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
And I suppose, sorry, is that okay in terms of having that motion for both the amendments to both bylaw and policy? I realize that's okay as one motion? Okay.
Well, that's the way it'll be worded.
That's the way it'll be worded. And then the other item is whether the 1 year or multi-year. Do you want to go ahead, just extend it for 1 year or switch to a multi-year?
Tina?
I'm ready to say multi-year, really.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does anybody have an issue with that? So multi-year, do we need another motion?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we need to
Well,
specify what those
Yeah.
years would be.
What those years?
What, 3 years? Is that 5? Is 5 3 years too long? Maybe
Three.
3, yeah.
Let's try 3.
3 good?
And then we can review more comprehensively at that time to see where we're at.
Yeah. So we need a motion to that?
So I would-
Oh, or Tom, you have,
Nope, Councillor Connors, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would move the motion
And I'll
as
second it.
listed there.
okay, moved and seconded, discussion? Everybody, all in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
All right. Thank you for your time, everyone. I'm not going to go because I'll stay.
I'd like to wait till the student government gets here before we go through too much. Some of the stuff that we've just done is things
Yeah.
that they would have had an interest in. Does anybody mind if we take a 5-minute or 10-minute break until? Because I mean, they should have. Well, they would be interested in that too, yeah, and that appointment's not till 9:30. I think. Well, yeah, because, you know, it'll be disruption anyway, and they left the school 10 minutes ago, so they should be here any minute. We're gonna take a 10-minute break.
You're live.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. And first off, I just want to know that we're going to do 8.2 first, and then we're going to move on to a presentation from the student council, because we just got it. And first off, I'd like to get Jody to come up and introduce everybody.
We'll let them introduce themselves.
Okay, introduce yourselves.
Do you want me to start? My name is Katie Ray Antle, and I'm the president of Student Council at Forest Heights Community School.
My name is Grace Bootler, and I'm the activities director of Forest Heights Community School.
My name is Elena Mordine, and I'm the treasurer of the student council.
My name is Amy Archibald, and I'm the youth sports representative.
And I'm Oakley Webb, and I'm the secretary.
I'm Jackson DeLong, I just volunteer with the council.
And I'm Judah Sabra, I'm a spirit representative.
Okay.
This
And-
isn't our whole council.
What?
This isn't our whole council. Some of us couldn't make it today. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's a busy time of year. But we just decided this little.
This
group
is
would
as
come
many
together.
objections as you could
Yes.
get. Well,
This
no,
is, yeah,
it's very nice
happy
to,
be
very
here.
nice to have you
Thank you
here.
so much.
Yeah, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Alan Weber, warden, and I live in the Chester Basin area.
Hello, everyone. Good day. I'm Tina Connors, and I'm the counselor for the community of New Ross.
Hi, I'm Clarissa Cullen, I'm the district counselor for Public District 2.
Hello, everyone. I'm the counselor for District 3, Chester, and around the surrounding area. And I'm glad you're here, and I hope you enjoy your day.
And he's Tommy Bremner.
I introduced myself.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm Andre Vino, counselor for District 1, which goes from East Chester all the way around to Northwest Cove. I know I see some familiar faces here. And I live on the one edge. I'm on the East Chester side of it. So.
Good morning, my name's Abdallah Asif, I'm the deputy warden, and I represent District 5, which is from Martins River Bridge to Gold River Bridge, including Beach Hill.
Good morning, welcome. I'm Sharon Church, and I represent District 7, which is Robinson's Corner, Marriott's Cove area, Windsor Road, goes straight through to Canaan, and ends at Sherwood.
Well, I guess we might as well do the staff too. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Lowe. I'm the deputy CAO here at the municipality.
I'm Sam Lamy, I'm the municipal solicitor.
I'm Tara McGuire, and I'm the CAO.
And I'm Emily. You know me. May have you acting clerk today.
Good. We'll start. Good to have you with us. Okay, so we're on to 8.2, Chester Golf Club. Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. Glad to be here.
How's everything this morning?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
We're happy for the weather for the golf course.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a great day for the golfing.
Yeah.
I don't golf much, but I'd rather be there than I am here.
So, thank you for having us. My name is David Harvey. I'm president of the Chester Golf Club. With me, I have, to my left, Alex Egan. He's the general manager of the golf club. And Bob Fraser, he's the first vice president for the golf club.
Morning.
So, all right. So I prepared some remarks. There were highlights of the report that I sent you, so I'll begin with that. So our report was sent to council last week, and trusting everyone has had a chance to read it, we'd like to touch on some of the highlights today. So the Chester Golf Club is a semi-private golf club, which means we welcome members and the public to enjoy our beautiful golf course. We are a not-for-profit organization, which means we operate exclusively for social welfare, civic improvement, pleasure, and recreation on a cost recovery basis only. Like many of the other recreation facilities in the area, such as the Chester Yacht Club and the Church Memorial Park, we face the realities of repairing, or in some cases, replacing our aging infrastructure. So our mission statement reads to provide a uniquely enjoyable golf course experience in perpetuity for the use of the permanent and summer residents of Chester and its environs, and uniting those persons in equality of social intercourse. So highlights from the report begin with our engagement in the community. So between 34 and 40,000 rounds are played each year, with thousands choosing to walk the course, encouraging a healthy lifestyle. We have 800 active members, senior members, and nearly 200 on the wait list. Membership numbers of most other golf clubs in comparison rarely exceed 600. We have green fee access is preserved through dedicated tee times, one foursome per hour. Anyone can book a tee time 2 days in advance. We have discounted green fee passes in both 5 and 10 packs, and they're available to the public. And many residents use the golf course in the off-season for a great place to exercise, walking with others, or quite often with a furry friend. We employ up to 75 staff during the summer, including 5 year-round positions. Many of our staff are local students gaining valuable seasonal work experience. And this golf course also welcomes retirees seeking flexible, fulfilling roles to supplement their pensions. So in terms of community impact, we spend more than $250,000 annually on goods and services from local businesses. You may be interested to know that between 14,000 and 16,000 non-member rounds are played annually, attracting both residents and visitors. And we provided a chart with the different golf courses in the area with their rates. And so you'll notice that our 18-hole green fee rates are in line with the other golf courses in the area. We are growing youth participation through initiatives such as our junior membership packages that are open to all municipal residents ages 18 and under at special rates. So when it comes to fundraising and charitable support, we significantly contribute each year to local charities that have included Bonnie Lee Farms, Lighthouse Food Bank, and Minor Hockey, just to name a few. So in conclusion, we are proud to be part of the Chester community, not just as a golf course, but as a year-round community hub that promotes healthy living, supports local employment, and contributes to a local economy. So we'd like to thank the council for recognizing the club's value and for continuing to administer a fair and thoughtful tax framework that supports our contribution to Chester. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I think we all recognize the value of the golf course at Chester and how we got it, and we're very fortunate and all of that. But we constantly get people coming in complaining because they can't join or whatever. And I guess that's why you're here today. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know who wants to say. Yeah, Sharon, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for coming in. I guess I'm one of the ones that would like to see a change. I think you do great things. We're so thankful to have a golf course like this in our community. However, I believe it should be open to all people that live in the municipality. And I understand why you limit membership. And my thing is open it up to everyone in the municipality, and if they never get to be a member, at least they get on a list that they may be eligible down the road. I think that's the beef that I have. Other than that, I mean, what you're doing is great, and, you know, it's good. People want to be members, but I just think, I don't understand why it's cut off at the 103, so people on the Windsor Road couldn't join, or if you live past, you know, Gold River, you couldn't join. That's my big concern. Since we are offering a tax break to you, I feel it should be open to anyone in our municipality. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. I guess I agree with Sharon in a sense that we're not asking, and we all recognize the value of the club. I mean, it brings a lot of economic activity here. But I think our concern is that if I want to join the club, and I know that within the bylaws of the club that you can put your name on a list, and I may never get in, but the original, and you just read from, I guess it was the original Constitution about when they donated the land, you know, they basically wanted the people in Chester, and they specifically say environs. Now, if you look at the meaning of environs, it means area or district. So, I mean, the intention, and I can remember when it was open to anybody who worked in the municipality, or lived in the municipality, or worked here, they absolutely, and they used to offer memberships to members of the clergy that came here, if I remember correctly. So I don't think what we're asking as a council, representing our areas, is we're not requesting that you know, let everybody in the golf clubs. You control the amount of people in the club. You control that, absolutely. But where I have a difference of opinion is that if I live in Western Shore, that I can't put my name on that list. And I will tell you my golf story, if you'll allow me. 20 years ago, I made my living here in Chester. So my two brothers are members here. One lives in Chester and one had got in before the Constitution changes of several times. Anyway, so I put my name on the list. 5 years it was on the list. So when my brother came and said, you're gonna get in this year, you're number 2 on the list. So I said, great. So guy comes in my store and he says, I thought he was there to welcome me to the club. And he proceeds to tell me that they should have never accepted my application because obviously I don't live here. And I had my application signed by Mr. Weber and Mr. Hilton. And they said, and the application at that time said, have you lived or rented in Chester for 5 years? And this is why they changed their applications, because of me. And I didn't pursue it any further, even though Walter said, Adela, you go tell them at the club that they're wrong and they'll let you in. I said, you know what? They could offer me a lifetime membership. I just didn't agree with it. And so we come full circle now. So right now, I'm not asking to get in the club. I'm just asking that me and someone in Sharon's district or someone out in Clarissa's district can actually put their name in the list. I don't think that's an outlandish task. I really don't. You control everything else. I mean, if I know that I can put my name in the list, but my kids may never get in there, but I can at least put my name in the list. That's all we're asking, or I'm asking. Anyway, thank you.
Tom, or do you want to respond?
No, thank you, Warden Weber, and gentlemen, thank you for coming. I have a very good understanding of the golf course. I grew up there. I believe you need to look at this change and strongly look at it because, if I may, you noted your youth opportunities are open to the municipality. Yeah, I think that's a good nailed it for me right there. If you're offering for youth to grow, what are they going to have? They're not going to be able to become members when they become seniors. I don't know the internal politics. I know you're dealing with a lot. I know the history of the in Chester recognition. I know the politics of the changing times and world. I agree with our other councilors. I think we have to open this up. They may never get on the list to be full members, but at least they're on a list to become a member. And I would encourage that. And thank you for what you do because it's a huge bonus to our community. Thank you.
Okay, Clarissa first.
Thank you, Warden. Here,
Oh, I think she was first.
well, yeah, it's fine. Thank you, Andre, for letting me go. Here it says, you have 14 to 16,000 non-members playing, so that is time, it's money coming in, which is great, but yet those 14,000 people over the course of a year could be new members from different districts. I just see that numbers, the only thing that doesn't lie to me is a number, and I understand that we want to attract visitors, and give them ample time to play, but if it's not open to the whole municipality, meaning, District 2, for example, what are the geographical boundaries right now? May I ask what they are at this point?
They go to the Golden Bean.
The Gold Bean, yeah.
There, and then to the East Chester Bridge, so if you take exit 7, go left.
East River.
First bridge, and then everything this side of the highway.
definitely excludes me. Okay, thank you very much.
It is on our website if you do want to take a look at the membership.
Sure.
You can get an actual physical picture and see.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for answering my question.
Okay, Sharon, or Tina?
It's okay, thank you. So I agree with the other counselors who have spoken. I don't have a personal testimonial story like Deputy Warden Asif. I maintain the same position that I had when this presentation took place 3, 5, 6 years ago. Same presentation. We had the same question presented to us when I was here at that time, and we had the presentation at that time, and my position has not changed, and I am in agreement with the other counselors in that the taxpayers of the entire municipality are providing this break, which is fine. I'm not questioning that at all, being on that particular list of nonprofits that receive that opportunity to be taxed as residential, not commercial, I believe is the terminology. But I'm just repeating whatever all others so far have said. So thank you for being here though today.
Okay. Andre?
Seems like you're getting ganged up on.
Never.
I have the benefit of coming from a long line of non-golfers. I think, you know, and we've not directly said it, but, you know, the issue here is that we have a bylaw that allows a tax exemption framework for not-for-profit organizations like yourselves that allows this residential rate rather than a commercial rate. And the issue really we're discussing then is that you have a not-for-profit group that has a limited membership of sorts. And, you know, I'm not sure how polarized I am on this because we have other examples of this very same thing in our municipality, I believe. For example, the Masonic Lodge, I believe. Do they qualify? I think they do. And you know, by their nature of what they are, and they do excellent work, they support many other organizations throughout our municipality. Without them, you know, our municipality would be a lesser one. And I believe they benefit from that, and they have a membership that's limited by half of our residents cannot qualify for that organization. So, not that I'm in favor of your policy or not, but I think this council should be thoughtful about what exclusions we're going to accept and what ones we're not going to accept. Because should we decide that, you know, we're going to remove this exemption for the golf club because they aren't geographically inclusive, it may precipitate other changes within our bylaw framework that could have unintended negative consequences. So that's all I really have to say. I'm not really thrilled. Like I'm fortunate enough, should I decide to take up golf, I don't have the time, but that, you know, I would within your geographic boundary. But and I understand the frustration for those that love golf that aren't. But you know, I think this council needs to be quite thoughtful about what it is that they want to do, because there are other consequences that reach far beyond golf.
Yeah, you bring up a good question. I'm not aware of any others that have a geographical boundary. I know that Masonic Hall, if you make application, they can reject you. That I know. but I don't think it's based on geography, but I could be wrong. So we'd have to look at that.
They certainly have a gender one.
Yeah, that they do. Yeah. Tina, you back?
Yes, I am. Actually, only because Councillor Vino has opened the envelope. And I think that we then, and I'm very serious about this, because this also, the Masonic Hall, the Masonic Lodges came up, if you, a number of us will remember, and that was actually a rather animated discussion because the membership, again, limited by the fact that some of us aren't men. Right? in terms of Masonic Hall. So thank you, Councillor Vino, for opening that up, because I think that we do need to discuss, outside of this discussion with the group that's in front of us today, but those others, and thank you. That's next meeting down the road.
Don't blame us on that.
Oh, no, I'm giving you credit. Full credit.
Anyway, I think it may be,
Councillor Asa had his-
oh, sorry, Councillor Raisik.
Yeah, Tina, you stole my thunder. But, yeah, I agree. I don't, that's not a fair comparison, Andre. You know, we all know why the Masonic Lodge doesn't accept. We understand that. It has nothing to do with geographic. It has to do with gender. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I wonder if you want to respond, because, I mean, the big issue here is that the people in this municipality don't understand why they can't at least make application to join wherever they may live in the municipality of Chester. We understand that you have to control the numbers, not a problem. Everybody understands that, but it's...
Who wants to respond to that?
You can take a go, or if you want me, I can, I mean, I'll just say a few words, but it gets complicated, is one summary statement. As Warden Weber indicated, the golf club did benefit from a very major donation in its early days, and they appointed a group of trustees who they basically determined. So the club operates within the commitment that was made related to that gift. And as operating requirements come and go, the boundaries do move out. And at one time, I think to your point, Abdallah, it included the whole municipality. I think we needed members and needed investment to expand the golf club, if I recall. And then as too many people wanted to join, boundaries were contracted a bit. And so it's always trying to find that sweet spot where you are able to offer your programming to people that will, can get in and can enjoy the game. I think now and over history, there's a couple other golf courses have emerged in the municipality, and I think we would be, how would I say it, but at a bit of an unfair advantage if we started to allow more people in that live in closer proximity to those golf clubs, and that's not the reason that we don't have an expanded boundary, but that's something that, to Andre's point of external consequences that you need to think about. So, Dave, I'll let you respond to what we can or can't do at this point, but we do our level best to contribute to the whole municipality, and we keep that at the forefront. And I think, Councilor Brunner, to your point about junior members, I believe I'm correct that if somebody comes into our junior program as a junior member and stays in good status, they carry on.
3 years as a junior member.
As a junior, they carry on.
No matter what the geographic...
No, sorry, in the Chester municipality.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And because my 3 kids all graduated from Forest Heights, I can name names of kids that played golf and live in outlying areas that are members of the club. Now, was that their parents having the foresight to make that happen or not? I don't know. But there are lots of examples of people that do live outside of the boundary. But I can well recognize the frustration. Personal stories. When my son first joined the junior program, I went down and thought his dad would join too. And I got told, no, you don't live in the area. And I lived in Marion's Cove at the time, and the area stopped at Robinson's Corner. So
back in the day, yeah.
I said, well, I guess I'll have to go down and cheer him on. But as as things evolved, my area was included, and I became a member at that point. So to Dave's point, the boundaries do come and go a bit as operations allow.
Yeah, I guess the other point I would just like to add to that is that we have, I guess COVID did us a favor in the fact that it brought people back to golf courses because people couldn't do much at the time outside with friends. So a lot of people came back to the golf course. At the time COVID hit, I don't know if you had a waiting list or if we did, it was really small. Now we're at a waiting list of 200. To my knowledge, at the last board meeting, we were told 11 from that list got in this year. I think it's gone up to 15, but, so for us to clear that list, like if someone's joining the golf course now, they're gonna have to wait probably 15 years to get into the golf course. So it's a way for us to manage, the boundaries are a way for us to manage the expectations of people wanting to get into the golf course.
But if you opened it up to the whole municipality, we all understand that you would only be able to take so many.
Right.
But at least we wouldn't be dealing with this issue of why is it not available to all of us? You know, like.
So it also would have to, like, we're run by a board.
Yeah.
Like this, that has to get approved by the membership as well.
Right.
So it's not like this group.
Oh, I
yeah,
get
we
that,
can.
but it's just that, you know, we think it should be on the table. I mean, we understand that you have to control the numbers, completely, and the 200 that are already on the list are there before anybody else. But if somebody from New Ross wants to put their name in, and they may never get there, at least they're allowed to try.
Right.
You know. Anyway, Della.
Thank you. I just, you made mention of you got to work within, within the confines of trustees or whatever. You make policy through the members, obviously. So who made the policy to expand boundaries? The membership as well? They brought it to a general meeting, okay? So how would you get this proposed policy change to a general to the meeting? Would you guys have to bring it?
Through the membership committee.
So somebody had membership, the membership committee.
Yeah.
So not a member can bring it forward.
Well, they could bring it forward to a member.
Okay, so if the membership committee decides not to bring it forward, it won't even get looked at. Is that correct? That's correct, right?
Yeah. Well, that's normal.
Well, okay, but, so you as the manager and you can't bring it. You just, I just find it hard to believe that you couldn't bring this up at an annual general meeting and say, you know, we're interested, how does the membership feel, and these are the parameters. We're gonna open it up to the municipality, and with the prerequisite in the application, that when you apply, this is based on, you know, somebody smarter than me can make up the wording, and you realize basically you mightn't get in for 50 years. To me, if you can make a good argument to me that says this is the reason why we're not doing it, I'm on board with you. I'm always willing to listen to both sides, but I just don't hear a good argument for what we're asking. As opposed to what the other residents in the municipality are saying, or, you know, you're giving them a break. And I understand that you, and I won't even get into the restaurant part of it, but, at the golf club. But, anyway, I'll leave it there. That's all I have to say.
You know, I think that if we request that the president of the board or whatever inform the membership that we've made the request that they discuss it, then I'm sure it'll get brought up. But, you know, yeah. Councillor Connors?
Sorry, third time. So I guess I'm going to separate it. They'll make the decision around the membership and the boundaries and so on. I'm going to zero in on the correspondence that we received from the resident. And just because it's not on the screen and so on, I'm going to read the statement. I live in the municipality and pay taxes. However, I am unable to join. Don't see why my taxes or the rest of the residents outside the boundary are contributing. So I guess I'm going to separate the membership piece around the fact that we are giving them a tax break. If they're on our list, again, this was a position I had 3, 5, 6, or 7 years ago around these private memberships that are getting this tax break, and yet it's the Municipality of Chester residents that are paying into this. So we need to talk about that. So they can take however long they want to take, if at all, with all due respect, to just make your decision. But this is a decision, one decision, would you not agree, fellow councillors, that we need to talk about? They are on that list, they are receiving a tax break. Bottom line for me.
Well, I think we'd have to look at everything we do, but,
Absolutely.
but I think that if we make the request, we wait and hear until they respond.
That's one. Part two is you're getting a tax break.
Well, I'm prepared to wait until they come back with a response to our request. But that's only me. Oh, sorry.
Councillor Vino.
Well, the only thing just hang on.
You're on, buddy.
All right. The only thing I really have to say is to reiterate my previous point that we have organizations that do good things. And everybody looks at the idea of fairness in different ways. And, you know, I'm not prepared to do anything rash. I understand the concern raised by the resident, and I'm actually sympathetic to that. And I may even side with that resident. I haven't decided. But it's important when these decisions can influence other policy decisions that we be really thoughtful about the impact. So I'm not quite ready to do anything rash until, well, it would be great if you guys would formally respond to this concern. But beyond that, you know, in terms of how we administer this tax exemption, you know, it's important that we don't do anything super rash that would actually have a negative impact on our residents, because there are groups, not just the golf club, because the golf club obviously offers all kinds of benefits to our residents that reach beyond golf, as you've rightly said. But we have other organizations that have limited scope, that do fantastic things for the broader community, and we have to ensure that we don't in any way have a policy decision that negatively impacts our residents in a broad way.
Yeah, I think we make the formal request and wait for a response. Clarissa?
Thank you. Can I ask what type of response time we're looking at? Is it?
Well, I don't have a clue when their annual meetings are,
Well, can I ask
or the
when your
process
annual
for them.
meeting is, your AGM? October?
Well, I mean, you know, that's,
You meet monthly?
It's in our bylaws that we have it in October, right?
Sure,
Yes.
and you meet monthly, obviously?
The board meets monthly.
Board meets, yeah.
We'll take the message to the board.
Yeah.
Correct.
We don't
Yeah.
be,
But you can't- you can't
We'd
make
be in
any-
no position to make a decision.
Right.
Until October, yeah. We just don't want to be reacting here, but we just want, yeah, okay, thank you, thank you.
I think.
so staff will prepare a letter and
Yeah.
send it.
I think the one point to remember is, like, we're not a private club, so,
No.
so in particular to this response, this gentleman can still play the golf course. It's not like he can't play the golf course. I
Oh,
think
no, he can go and do just pay to get in for the day or whatever.
And we do have discounted rates. We have 5-pack and 10-pack discounted rates. So it's not like we're a private club and no one else can come and play the golf course.
I know.
And when we book our tee times, we do 5 days out for membership, and then 3 days out for green fee players, and then anybody on day 2 out can book any tee time. It's not just the one tee time an hour that we hold. We hold that for green fee play for 2 days out. Members can book in those times, green feers can book in those times, anybody's welcome to come there. You come out here on a Saturday, Sunday, you're gonna see 40% members and 60% green feers. Because they play Monday to Friday, which is the usual work week when they're retired. They play golf Monday to Friday and take the weekends off, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen an uptick in retirees moving to the area, which means more rounds of golf, which is clogging the golf course up. Like, if the rounds have gone from 30,000 to over 40 last year, that's not a little bit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like our tee sheets booked from 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night.
Yeah.
It's hard to get on as a group.
Yeah, so it's not like anybody can't play, but it's
Correct.
just the membership issue itself.
Price.
Okay, anyone else, any questions? All right, thank you, and you're gone, oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Tina.
no, fourth time. Just want to thank you for coming in. It was a request of council based on this correspondence, and I appreciate you coming in front of, you know, again, as Andre had referred to, ganging up, I don't think so. But, and also this has been on our discussions for, many, not frequently necessarily, but many years going back. But I actually am glad of this because now it'll allow me to go back to that list as one individual counselor, and I'm going to be bringing a request to staff around a review of that list and bringing it here to this table around all of our groups that are on that list. So, but thank you, because it was for being here today.
You shall receive a letter of request from us.
Okay. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Go have a round of golf.
Is Eve your brother?
Thank you, everyone.
I know him well. This guy, yeah. Thanks, Andre. You're my counselor of my area.
Okay, we're gonna have a presentation from student government.
That's always not in there.
Two. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. I've already introduced myself. My name is Katie Antle, and I'm the president of Forest Heights Community School. I just wanted to thank you all for letting our council come today, because as a group of young adults that are interested in a council like this, it's really beneficial to us to run our councils and see how, adults run their council. So it's very, very nice. Thank you very
Adults.
much. Adults,
There are people who don't think we're adults sometimes.
No, it's fabulous. So today, we've asked you for things in the past, and I really appreciate for you all being open to hearing more of our asks. And we recognize that a lot of people come here and ask you for things, so thank you for giving us the time today. In front of you, I just prepared a little baby presentation. I apologize for getting it to you only this morning. So you can see it's the Forest Heights Track and Field Canopy donation. And I know that's very, very specific, but you'll see what I mean. So on the other side, if you flip over, I attached some pictures. I've been hearing from my teachers that are on the track and field volunteer team along with the students that we are the only school in our municipality that doesn't have a branded canopy with our school name on it. So if you look, I know the pictures are quite small, but Parkview, even North Queens and all that, I know that's not your municipality, but all of the schools have a canopy that says their school name, except for Forest Heights. We've been borrowing the soccer tents from CDS, so we don't even have a canopy that it belongs to our school, which is a little bit sad for us. And from the track, looking and not being able to see our school represented is a little bit, sad in comparison to everything else. And we're very proud of our school. I do believe that Forest Heights has really risen up over the years, and I've been really passionate about being in council since I was in grade 9, and I've been at every single one of these meetings that we've been welcomed to since the beginning, and I'm super passionate about my school. I think there's a lot of potential in Forest Heights, and since I've gotten there even, our school community has really gotten better, and we've worked really hard to put on as many events and bring the community in and bring students together and sort of uplift our school. And I feel like having the representation of our school from the track for everyone to see is a really good way of doing that and letting everybody know that we are here and we're proud. We're a little school. There's 336 of us, but we are 336 passionate kids, and we really love our school. And that is why it's important that on the next slide, you can see the proposal. So our teacher, Miss Lee Liberté, was doing some numbers for us. And we looked at the 10 by 10 tent, which is after tax and shipping, $1,774.75. This is a Canadian company too. It ships out of Vaughan, Ontario, which I think is important to note.
That's
given
important
our
in this day and age.
world right now. So we made sure that we looked for a Canadian company to ship the tents out of. So yeah, the cost after shipping is, as I said, $1,774.75, and student council is asking for $1,775, just because 25 cents. I mean, we could do 75, that's totally okay too. But a round number is really nice maybe for you. And we were talking to our principal, Alicia Lovett, and she said that if that cost was too costly for everyone, we would be willing to cost share because it is something that is really important to us. So that we get this out for the next track and field season because we have a lot of good little athletes from our school and we're proud of that and people are moving on. Yes, so thank you so much. That's all I have to say.
I thought you were coming here to tell us how you could help us, not ask us.
I'm sorry, I wished. One day.
Councillor Bremner.
Councillor Bremner.
Thank you, Warden Weber, thank you. And it's nice to have all of you here.
Thank you.
Question I have, would this canopy be able to use for other events too?
Absolutely.
So it's a multi.
Yeah, absolutely. So the branding that we would get is like on that little, if you look at the diagram, we are clearly not biotherm, but on the sort of part that you would see from the front, we'd have Forest Heights Community School and our school crest, so the falcon with FHCS would be on the other part. Could be used for, I mean, anything, right?
So could we go one step further and put, if we sponsor this, put a municipal logo on it,
I don't see why not.
showing that we've partnered with them?
I don't see why not at all.
It's
I
our
mean, it's all
school.
sides branded, so it wouldn't.
It's our school and we should be proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
propose that each one of us contribute, I looked at it, it looks like $255 each out of our district grants, and that everybody has a part in it. It's our high school, it's huge in our community.
I have no issues whatsoever. Sorry, Tina. Tina?
Certainly. Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement with this. We need to do it. The only question I would have is, and it's unfortunate that you've had to wait, really. And I don't understand why we haven't done this through our Forest Heights Community School Equipment Reserve Fund. That would be my question, because this should have really, or could it not have been done immediately?
I'm sure it's just an oversight. Like, I don't think that this is an issue that anybody's really like, at least nobody's been expressive about their concern for this. This was an issue that I'm not on track. I don't know if any of, other than maybe Amy, has been in track in the past, and Alina, but like I'm not in track, so I didn't even know this was an issue until it was brought to me by, you know, concerned students and teachers and everything. And as student council president, like, it's my job to bring that to you. And I think it's important. I want our school to be represented, and I want people to know that, like, you know, we're proud and we're Forest Heights, and it's great, yeah.
I think it's great.
But I do believe it was just an oversight,
So I think that we need to look at that. We just had our budget discussion 2 weeks ago, May 5th, and we've got a good amount of money in that equipment reserve fund. So
I
unless
don't
it's
know.
ineligible,
Yeah, I don't know if Jody wants to speak to that or not. I don't know. Yeah, or whether they're eligible for just plain other grants. I mean, I didn't know that they needed it, so.
So this project hasn't come forward as part of a community school project, and typically when we cost share equipment at any of our community schools, the need is identified, and then we determine whether it's a school project. So if it's strictly equipment that's only being used by the school, then we typically don't get in and partner on those types of projects. So I guess with this example, if it's multi-branded, and if there was a situation where the equipment was going to be used both by the school and by the community for different events, then that's a possible consideration. If this was strictly a tent that was being used, example, just by the sports teams, then perhaps it wouldn't be one that we would normally cost share.
Well, they would get priority. But I guess if we needed it for something else.
So I guess there's a couple of options there. It would be to follow Councillor Bremner's suggestion and use district grant funds, which would be fine. And the other option would be to look at our community school budget. So it's one that hasn't been budgeted for, but there are some options.
But we do have money in reserves. Is this not eligible? Well, I don't know. I don't remember the criteria for how we use that.
Yeah, so essentially it would come down to that split and what the equipment is being used for. So if
Community driven as well, not just for the school.
Right.
but this is used by the community.
Okay, so I have, who was that?
Councillor Asaw.
Della?
I just like this, I'm in agreement, like, you're gonna get the thing, whichever one.
One way or the other.
I'm just so impressed,
you.
I'm just so impressed by your presentation.
Thank you very much.
I wish, that when I was 16 or 17 or however.
18.
I could, 18,
18.
even at 20, even at 30, that I could speak as well as you, and
Thank you very much.
I just want to credit, and it's, and the student body, like, I'm really impressed with your presentation. Your school spirit is amazing.
Thank you very much.
And I agree with you with the tent for track and field. A buddy of mine is at Parkview, and if they didn't have something to sit on there, they would melt out there.
Oh, for sure, like the
Yeah.
sunburns I've been seeing are
Absolutely.
crazy.
So, yeah, I'll be like Tina, I'm all over this, Tina.
Fabulous, thank you.
Just a question of where the money comes from. Yep. Andre?
A couple questions. How many people on the track team?
How many people on the track team?
Roughly.
Roughly? Oh my goodness, I'll ask my council too, maybe they have a better idea than I would. Amy, you might have an idea.
I know this year we have like probably 20 more people than we did last year. Because CAMS has like, as students come up to us, they are like so sports
Driven,
really.
yeah.
Like, we have the biggest team we have had in years since like we've been here. So I wanna say like 40, 50.
It's quite a few students. She's our sports rep, so I figured she'd have a better idea than me.
You know, back in my day, which was a while ago, track was really big.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure it's still big. I try to imagine a 10 by 10 tent, how many people could fit under one tent.
No, I was also trying to think about that.
Yeah, and I also envision like you have girls and boys soccer teams and stuff, so when two teams are going to play, who gets the tent?
Right.
Do you think one tent is gonna be enough, really?
Well, I mean, it's a good start. I didn't want to come here too
I
crazy.
just feel like you should have more than one.
You think we should have 2 tents?
You probably should, at least.
Well, if we had 2 of them, then it'd be an awful lot easier to be able to be used for other things.
This is true, yes.
Yeah, and just before we get too far, I mean, we could approve this and have staff come back and tell us what the best source of funding for it would be.
That's fine. To get them a couple tents.
Yeah,
So would you like a motion?
for 2 of them.
I'd
Oh,
like to make a
thanks,
motion that we supply Forest Heights Community School 2 of the appropriate tents they're looking for out of whatever funding we can find out of our options.
Yeah,
And get our logo on there, too.
And our logo, yes, thank you.
Absolutely. It will be.
yeah.
It will.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? Did you?
Discussion, please.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that one of the tents could have cams on it?
We actually, CAMS has a tent.
Oh, fair enough.
We don't, but CAMS does.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Okay,
I'm
so,
not
you know,
sure.
is their tent, fairly new? Is it need to be, is it
Their
something-
tent?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty new
Okay,
to
fair
me.
enough. All right, I
Yeah.
just thought partly with the
I
with the
feel
junior
as though it's
school.
quite new, yeah.
And the good thing is if we get 2 of them, then there are other possible uses for different events.
Absolutely, and like, honestly, they're very multifaceted tents. Like, they don't say track and field, they just say Forest Heights, and of course, the Municipality of
Municipality of
Chester,
Chester.
of course. And that will be, they could be used for literally anything. If we had like an outdoor bake sale, it could even be used for
Yeah.
that in the community, right? So,
Beer tent.
exactly. Perfect.
So these could be assembled and disassembled and go to the regionals?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Athletes go to provincials?
Yes.
They would have, you'd have that.
And
We'd be
there is a
advertised
2-year
everywhere.
warranty on this one as well, from what I was seeing. It's not on the screenshot that you have here, but on my screenshot, it's a 2-year warranty on this as well, so we can send it back and have it fixed if there are any issues with it. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. Anybody opposed?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. One way or another, you're getting them.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you just got what you wanted, yeah. Oh, my. Where am I now?
9.2.
9.2, wind energy revenue policy amendments.
Good morning. So we have a wind energy revenue policy, P79.
Just before you start, do you guys have any idea what we're talking about? Okay, so we have a turbine that we own ourselves at the landfill that generates revenue. Oh, yeah, you've been there, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And, yeah, you helped build the little park out there, you guys did. And then we also, there's a private sector wind farm, of course, in our municipality, Chester. And they pay us money based on the output of the turbines. So that's what our wind revenue is. We make money off of wind, we don't lose money.
Yeah, and so this policy has allocation of where these funds would go. So there's 1/3 amounts to 3 different revenue streams. And economic development, operating reserves, and community-based projects. So the amendment before you doesn't actually change any of the intent of those allocation streams or the wording or whatnot. So last year we entered into a development agreement with a consultant and landowner group that are building another.
Bear River one, yeah.
Bear Lake.
Bear
So there's
Lake.
gonna be an additional revenue once that gets developed. So when we look back at the policy, just some of the language is a bit outdated. It's talking about future revenues, whereas, so the two that Warden mentioned hadn't been built yet. So in advance of those coming online, this policy was adopted. So, so there's some future tense wording in there that we're proposing to change. And also just adding a reference to this new site. So the intent of the policy hasn't changed, but the kind of preamble and purpose have been changed to reflect the new realities. So the recommendation in front of you is to conduct first notice for the amendment and schedule a second or final notice at the next council meeting.
Somebody.
Motion to
Moved.
conduct first notice to amend the wind energy revenue policy P79 and schedule second and final notice at the next available council meeting.
Somebody prepared to second that motion? Seconded by Clarissa. Tina?
Thank you. So on page 2 of the policy itself, okay, so purpose, scope, and then policy, and it says 2. 1, 2, and 3, and it's talking about where the revenue generated is going to be allocated and so on. On the line where it says 3, 1/3 will be designated for community-based projects and infrastructure. And you may not think it's important, but I do, so I'm just mentioning it. So on the policy that we have on the books now, like when you look at the policy as it exists right now, it's missing a word. And the word that's missing is, well, actually, the way it's worded on the current existing policy is 1/3 will be designated for community-based projects / infrastructure. So I'm asking if we can either get rid of the word and put in the / because I don't want infrastructure to be misconstrued other than related to community-based infrastructure. Because long after I'm not here, it could be misconstrued, and we dedicated it 1/3 to be strictly for community-based. Again, I know that you may
So
not.
the infrastructure would have to be community-based.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
but right now,
Why
it's not
that-
insinuating that, it's not. So, we could either put a / get rid of the word and put a / there, as it exists now in our policy. When you go on our website, it is there like that. Or we could add the word community in front of infrastructure, whatever we want. Or, I mean, I'm not saying we have to do that, I'm asking.
No, Sam has an opinion.
Yeah, I think we want to, I agree with what you're saying, Tina, just we have to be careful how we word it.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be community-based, it could be a project alone, perhaps it could be infrastructure alone,
Right.
or it could be a combination of a project
And-
plus
And
infrastructure.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So could you use the word 1/3 may instead
No,
of will?
no, because it
that's
is
not-
will.
That's not what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
It is
I
will.
think just make it clear that I think that it's community-based, it's a project, or it's infrastructure, or it's a combination of the two.
Or the slash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The backslash.
And that's the way it exists now, when you look at our website.
Can we still approve this motion with the notion that you're gonna clarify the,
Yeah, my concern with the backslash is it may imply that the two have to be together, that's all,
So could it be and/or?
and/or something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I believe that we can, for the second final notice, we can bring back.
well, if we just make the motion to change it to and/or
Yeah.
in that wording?
So would it read as, community, or 1/3 will be designated for community-based projects and/or
Or-
community-based
That's
infrastructure?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because what's in there.
Okay. So that's the motion, seconder, all right with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Further discussion?
I just like saying that, is that okay with you?
You didn't give me a kick or nothing, so I assumed it
Okay.
was. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, 9.3, short-term rentals. Okay.
Morning, Council. So, yeah, I'm Brian, that is Oakley, we might look the same, but, so, and.
I said that to share, that's Brian.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's right here.
So,
I've seen him around before.
he appreciates it when other people give me a hard time, so feel free. Okay. So.
He gets this from his father, not his mother.
That is very fair. Yeah, that is very fair. So what we have before you today is a second reading of the short-term rental licensing bylaw. No changes were requested or made to the final bylaw that is presented before you today, with the exception of we've removed highlighting and things like that that were in the past one that referred to other sections of the bylaw that we had highlighted simply to make sure that we made the corrections when the final version came to you. So that's what you have before you. And have any questions otherwise? We're looking for a motion to approve second reading.
Well, we've been through it. Somebody prepared?
Well, I have a question first.
Okay.
Thank you, Warden Weber. Through to you, Brian. Of course, ADUs and short terms are always a hot issue in our village here. And, pardon? Sorry.
You should tell me.
Yeah. So what we're dealing with here is village planning and being able to balance rental units and housing units as possibly are needed. So we're always dialoguing with folks. And in this village, there's a concern that if the short-term rentals if AUDs that were added into the possibility are used as short-term rentals, then there could become a number of issues. Overuse of party opportunities, someone changing structure that they actually own several pieces of property. It could do a number of things that could bear in. I just want to make sure when I read it that we have the ability to change or address items if those things should happen right here at this table within what council feels.
Absolutely, we can change it.
Because,
If we
that's
determine there's a-
that's the one thing I wasn't looking to get into was short-term rentals that become a rate. I'm all in favor of ADUs to be able to have family and members, or ADUs becoming short-term rentals that become an issue.
Yeah, well, that's.
And I can just, if you want me, I
Yeah,
can provide
great,
a
yeah.
little comment on that. So yeah, and I'm going to say something, I'm going to look at the planners in the room to correct me if I get this ever so slightly wrong, but there's two different methods that we could use to do that in the future were an amendment requested because there became issues with ADUs, which are accessory dwelling units. So that's what ADU stands for, just for the people in the back. And one of them is we could put something in the future, an amendment in the licensing bylaw, if we so chose. The more common way that this would be dealt with would be an amendment to the land use with the village secondary plan itself, if we chose to do that. That would be the more common way to do it, but it could be accomplished in this as well. So there are two different methods that we could use to do that if it were defined as an issue moving forward.
Yeah. So, second and final reading, somebody prepared to move, we approve it?
Also move.
Second by Sharon, moved by Sharon. Seconded by Abdallah. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. And did we do 9.4 at the same time? No.
I'm here, I'm not moving.
No,
So,
okay,
yeah.
9.4. Second and final reading adoption of marketing levy. Oh, yeah, this sort of ties together, but.
They tie together, and they also tie together with your public hearing this evening, which
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's looking forward to, the long day and that, so. So just similar to what we just went through, this is second and final reading for the marketing levy bylaw, which we have discussed previously. As before, there have been no amendments made to the bylaw, with the exception of removing the highlights and references to other parts of the bylaw to make sure it was all updated. So we're looking for a motion to give second and final reading for the marketing levy bylaw.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, council.
You did well. Yeah. We're going to take a break. Wash. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order, and just before I forget, apparently we're taking these young people out for lunch at the Kiwi Cafe, so I need to know how many people want to go. Tom, does? Yeah, after council, yeah. 2, 3. Okay, and I'm gonna go. Okay, so Jody, there's four of council are gonna go with you.
Perfect.
So you figure it out. I don't know, you didn't say anything?
I can go if you want, sure.
Well, it's up to you, like, they might have a question that I can't answer. Bye. Okay. Okay, I think I'm on 10.1. Grant application, Department of Public Works.
So, council and council. Council. So, just sort of apprise student council, and I think I've actually presented on this very grant during student council sessions at Forest Heights in the past, so it goes around, comes around. So what the municipality does for times is it applies or partners with other levels of government for specific projects. So we often partner with the province and with the federal government and a combination thereof, and with federal government agencies, depending on the project and what we want to achieve. So what this is the Provincial Capital Assistance Program, and municipality has submitted two applications to that program. The deadline was the end of April. What we're able to do as part of a complete application, the municipality is required to submit a resolution saying that the council actually is aware of and supports this project. So normally I would bring that before the submission, but the timeline was just didn't work. So what we do, there's always a provision to submit the council resolution after the fact. So the two projects submitted are projects that are on council strategic priorities. So obviously any funding, additional funding we can access will free up municipal funding for other areas. So normally we would apply for one, but there has been some change as referenced in, I think it's 11.2 on this agenda. The provincial government has cancelled 2 other grant programs and rolled those funds into the PCAP program. They are doing some ongoing restructuring about their programs in an effort to sort of make things align and so on. So as a result, we were encouraged to submit a second application. So the first one is the potential potable water sources study for a total cost, estimated cost of $218,077, including net HST. The second one is for the Otter Point wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Those are capital costs. Though that is a significant sum to submit to the PCAP program, considering the PCAP program is by itself a 1.69 budget, but there is a possibility that a portion of that could receive funding. So as a result, part of that submission include a detailed capital budget with the various items costed out for the provincial reviewers. So what we're looking for then is council to adopt that draft resolution as outlined in the recommended motion. It itemizes the 2 grants. It itemizes the cost of the 2, and the council supports the project and will provide at least 50% of the costs of either program.
They're in our budget.
They are in, yeah.
Well, why not ask for money if you...
I did not anticipate any objection, but, but yes.
Tom?
I'd like to make a recommendation to motion to adopt the resolution as drafted, which will be submitted to complete the municipality's 2 applications to the 2025-2026 Provincial Capital Assistance Program.
Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Sharon. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you all.
Good luck with it.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, 11.1, Minister Lore, Christine Blair, minimum planning requirements regulations.
Yep, so this is just a letter that was received for council's information to receive.
Yeah. We got it, he's doing what he wants to do.
That's right.
Okay, 11.2. Council for Minister Law Profiling Beautification Streetscaping Program and Community Works Program.
Yeah, so Jonathan referenced this item in his presentation just now. So this is a letter from the minister letting us know that the beautification and streetscaping program and the community works program have been sunset, and that fund has been redesignated over to the PCAP program that we just discussed.
Yeah, so that's big. Tina?
So beautification is certainly something that I've talked about and was excited to see in our strategic priorities, and it's still there, and also too when it was referenced within the growth strategy presentation by the consultants. So I guess I just want to put it out there and as part of the minutes and on record again. And first off, I'm not happy when I read this, right? Because
No.
I'm thinking, well, you know, you're just taking money from here and, you know.
Put that somewhere else, yeah.
So, and we've been successful as a municipality seeking support through that program very well. And so I am disappointed in that, but I just want to make sure that that's, I know it's not going to impact what we're doing here. So I just wanted to make sure, because I know even as recently as last evening when I was at my Regional Development Society meeting, AGM, we talked about beautification because we reviewed our strategic plan. So, yeah, so, okay, again, just wanted to, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. It's
No.
still our strategic
Yeah.
priority. It's still a project we're
Yeah.
working on. We'll be
Excellent.
coming forward with some options.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Phew. Okay.
Okay, 11.3. Mahone Island Conservation Association Boat Mooring Program. And what are they looking for? More, us to do some more?
Yeah, so last year, council was asked if they would join in partnership with Micah to share in the boat mooring program. And we contributed 50% of the building and installing costs. And so this year they have come back.
Want some more?
And they would like an additional approval of a $20,000 budget, and they would cost share 50% of that, so it would be $10,000. It's not something we put in the budget.
Yeah.
So it would be something that we brought forward to council for consideration, and if we were doing it, I think we had discussed that it would come out of the operating reserve.
How many did we put in last year? I forget.
I forget, I don't know, Chad.
2 or 3.
Only 2 or 3?
Yeah,
I know there's a couple off clay.
Yeah. Birch. Yeah.
It was off clay too.
Well, what do we
I don't
want to,
remember.
what do we want to do? Yeah, well,
So this is this is not in our budget at this point.
No.
I think that we should be adding this to our budget. This is, for the dollars invested, it's extremely successful, well-used, and we're known for
Boating is a
being on
big
the
deal
ocean.
here.
Like, this is kind of like it's in our logo. So, you know, I think it only makes sense that we would fund this, and I'm not sure where staff recommends to take the money from, but
operating reserve.
operating, well then, I would move that we put this expense to operating reserve.
Moved, second. Second by Tom. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Hmm.
11.4, South Shore Public Libraries.
Councillor Connors has her mic on.
Oh, I'm not surprised at that. Councillor Connors?
So I've mentioned here as a board member representing this council on social public libraries that this was going to be coming to us as a letter of support, a draft letter of support from all the mayors and wardens within Lunenburg Queens. So it's been in the package for the time that we've received our package, and including the draft letter. So I have received correspondence, first off, regrets from the CEO, with the library, Ashley, was not able to be here, Ashley Nunn Smith. She's made it to each of the other 5 when she could, and some she wasn't able to make it. So she's been keeping me in the loop. A couple of days ago, 3 of them had approved, and as of Tuesday night, the last 2, if you will, so we are the 6th municipal unit to receive it as part of our meeting schedule.
Yeah.
So the other 5 have already signed
Approved
on.
it, yeah.
Signed on, so there was an official motion by their individual councils to
Authorized.
authorize the warden for signature. And if we're comfortable with that, I would put forward that as an official motion.
We have a mover, do we have a seconder? Seconded by Abdallah. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Yeah, well, if they don't fund it, we'll end up, whatever. Okay. 12.1, request for decision, reduction of taxes.
Oh, sorry.
Did I miss something?
11.5 was added.
Oh, 11.5, oh yes, sorry. Minister Kim Marsden from New Ross Fire Commission. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I forgot about that one too, right?
Yeah.
So that was something that came up at the ratepayers meeting last Tuesday night, Tuesday, May the 6th. It came up from the floor, in the fact that we are noticing on social media that we will be, the community will be receiving through the community of New Ross over to Highway 14 through New Rossville, the delivery of these wind components, wind turbine components. So that's going to be massive, and it was brought forward at the ratepayers meeting because, for the most part, yes, it's going to be an inconvenience, but we all like development, don't get me wrong. Inconvenience, the road won't be passable, we know that, because of the massive width of these pieces of
big.
equipment, but around emergency response. So they put forward the motion that the ratepayers, which you'll see, you've received the copy, write to the minister to ask for clarification and just information's all. We need to prepare as a fire emergency and emergency services in that community for what hopefully won't happen, what won't happen. And they were indicating a copy to the MLA, and I asked if they could copy as well to the municipal council, just so we would be aware, and it would be in the public package. So
Yeah.
thank you for putting that.
Are they being notified that it's taken place?
The community has not been officially notified, no.
Okay, yeah.
No. Oh, no, you know what, that's a bit of a fib. There is an update that seems to have cropped up on social media, but not in an official capacity.
Official capacity, yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now I think I'm on to 12.1.
Morning, council.
Morning.
And also other council, welcome. So what I have here for you today is a request for decision. This is based on a request that came from a resident asking for a reduction in their taxes from the last couple of years. So what happened was in 2021, Beverly McGinnis placed her Chester properties into an alter ego trust, a personal trust. She retained ownership. She retained residency in Nova Scotia. However, the name change on those deeds triggered the removal of the cap on her assessments through PVSC. In 2024, she noticed this error and appealed to PVSC through the normal appeal process and was successful in having the cap reapplied. However, PVSC does not backdate changes, they go forward. So she is saying that she would like council to consider reducing her taxes for the 2022-23 and 23-24 tax years to account for what would have been the cap values for those 2 tax years. PVSC has provided us numbers that would represent what the capped values were in those years. So in this report here, you can see the difference between, there's 2 charts here at the bottom of the first page, the 5 different properties that are all one area. You can see the market values, what would have been the capped values per the PVSC attachment, the actual taxes paid, what the adjusted taxes would be, and then the adjustment amount. So what Ms. McGinnis is requesting is a reduction in taxes paid in the amount of $9,969.32 relating to the 2 fiscal years listed here.
Well, it was a mistake, you know. I know that it's not our fault that the mistake was made, but we've done it in the past. Andre?
So, when the property was moved into the trust, which she must be, I guess, the trustee, this was in 2022, I gather. And she was, the trust was then taxed at the higher rate, and it was paid.
Yes.
And in the subsequent year, it was then taxed again at the higher rate, and it was paid. And in the third year, an application to have the tax reduced was done. So each time, because I own a little bit of property, I am aware of this, each time a tax bill comes in advance of that tax bill, you actually get a sheet outlining what your taxes are to be.
Yeah, the assessment notice.
That's
yeah.
right. And it says right on that this is an opportunity to appeal. So for 2 years, there was no appeal.
Correct.
Now, should we proceed and go back and remedy this situation, which was in error, the taxpayers at large will pay the difference. Do I understand that essentially?
Yes, it would essentially be a reduction in revenue in the current fiscal year.
But we've already paid the province that money. More than half of that money goes to the province's remittance, I believe. Yeah, so that money we're not going to get back from the province.
No.
So it would appear to me that this is a failure of the resident to monitor their own tax situation and appeal in a timely manner. Am I wrong about this?
You're correct in that there were 2 years of assessments that were incorrect and not appealed, and then in the third year, it was noticed to be incorrect and it was appealed successfully. So yes, your summary is accurate.
It sounds like the situation was remedied in a timely fashion when the appeal was given. You know, the failure of the resident to appeal in a timely way is their failure. I have tax burden, a lot of it. And it's my responsibility to ensure that the taxation that is applied to me is fair and just, and I have a mechanism by which to appeal it. And should I miss my deadlines, that is my responsibility, not the people that are surround me, not the others that pay tax here. It's mine alone. So my opinion is to reject this application for a tax relief. And that's where I'll be standing on this issue.
Councillor Azif.
Just to be clear, Tim, so when she moved this to a trust, that triggered the cap to come off?
Yeah, it would have been a name change on the deeds.
Okay,
right.
so as it stands today, it's still in the trust, so is the cap off?
No, the cap's been reapplied after the appeal in 2024.
So so that PVC made the decision to put the cap back on?
Yes.
So maybe we don't know, but what was the reason for doing that?
So
If that's their policy, if you change.
When a property owner goes through this type of transaction, they could have at the time notified PVSC to say this is not a change in beneficial ownership or whatever the correct wording is. And she could have had that cap continue to apply if it had been done that way initially.
Thank you, that's all I needed to say.
Just a comment.
Yeah, I don't think it would be fair to characterize this as an error. My experience, when there's a change in ownership, they'd automatically take the cap off. And then the onus is on the new owner, which is usually the case, to apply or appeal, as the case may be, to have the cap put back on. So I think what happened here is the normal process happened, they took it off. I've gone through this myself for clients, so you see it, you contact them, they say fine, and they fix it. Unfortunately, she didn't catch it herself for 2 years, and then she got it. So that's one point. It wasn't really an error, it's just the process. Second, we had this issue before on a property where somebody was asking for tax relief based on assessment issues, and it's not real clear that we have authority to do it. In the other case, the taxpayer went to the minister issued a letter that
Telling us to do-
said we could do it, so based on that, we did it, but it's still not clear to me that we have the authority to do it.
In that case, that was a PVSC error.
That wasn't, that's right, that is the difference, that's right. In that case, it was an error, in their case. And say, in this case, I don't think you could characterize it as an error, it's just the way the system works.
Right. Thank you. And I'll just comment, I would think that she had legal advice when she moved this into a trust. So really, her, whether it be legal or accounting advice, would have explained these things to her. I mean, the onus is on her when you do those sort of things. It does trigger some things. I learned on a very small matter, the hard way, that, you know, it triggers things when you move investments and you don't realize, or something like that. So I think the onus is on her. And why are there so many PID numbers, and why are they all capped? That's,
Oh, the cap is for residents of Nova Scotia for all their properties.
for all of their properties? Okay. I thought it was just for residential.
Yep,
Yeah.
no, it's for.
I
all
I don't
properties.
question that she should have caught on, but at the same time, it was a mistake. Well, PVCs as well, because it didn't change hands, but, yeah. Well, the decision is council's.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, sure I'll hear from her, and if she wants to come in, she can.
Thank you, council.
Okay, now where am I? The last page. 12, I don't think. 12.2, summer meeting schedule. You got a copy of it here.
Yeah, there's a copy of it. So council meetings, per our policy now, are on the second and the last Thursday of the month. And then our policy and strategy sessions are on the third Thursday of the month. So for June, that would make us have council meetings. That would put us with council meetings on the 12th and the 26th, policy and strategy on the 19th.
Yeah.
You can see July, same thing, but we're looking for some direction on August. Last year, we had one council meeting during the month, so we have put one council meeting in there for the month on the second Thursday. And then per our practice last year, we canceled the 21st and the 28th, and then if council needed to, if there was a reason, we could do that, but that gives council a little bit of a break for the summer and staff a little bit of a break for the summer. But your choice, we can keep a council meeting on the 14th, we can move it to the 7th, you can decide to hold it if you need to hold it. It's,
Look,
just looking for some
if
direction.
if we need to change it between now and then,
Yeah.
we always can.
Yeah,
So, you know, it doesn't hurt to try to take time off.
yeah.
Yeah.
How does that work for the working?
Well, I think staff are, yeah. Yeah, like people try to do things and there's lots going on. Obviously, if something comes up and we have no choices, then we call council together and that's the end of it.
And these days are tentative.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
7th of August is kind of close to the civic holiday.
If all goes well, this is the schedule we'll use. If things fall apart, we'll change it. Okay, so we're all good with it?
Good,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, 12.3, operating grants.
Before we start, this agenda item, I'm gonna show their conflict on one of the grants discussions, so to make it, this is kind of a weird situation because it's all-inclusive, but, so one of those particular grant discussions, 12.3.I, I am a member, an active
Oh,
member
yeah.
of the group. So how would you like to handle this? Can I be here for Chad's introductions and general discussion?
We'll just pull this one out and do it separately.
Okay, great.
I'm just wondering if I'm involved in any of them. I'm not sure. Well, I don't believe in this being a conflict myself, so that's besides the point.
Me neither.
Okay, I guess for the purpose of student government, that the municipality has various grants programs, and so one of those is our operating grant. And so not-for-profit groups within the municipality can apply for funding. There's an annual deadline in April, and so we're at the point that we've gone by that deadline, and so we have several applications brought forward to council this morning. And so they're annually, or for this budget year, we have allocated the same amount that we have in previous years, which is $33,000 is the total amount that council has to give out to groups. And this year, something that's a little bit unusual is that we're not oversubscribed. Yeah, we're actually under. So that doesn't usually happen. So I don't know if that perhaps maybe makes council's decisions a little bit easier, but nonetheless, that's a little bit of a different scenario than some other years. So typically what we do from a review process is we have the list of applications and we go through and council has a discussion on each of them, or if there's any questions, and then you determine an amount that you would like to allocate for each of the grants based on the amount that they've applied for, as well as your overall budget and all the grant criteria that you normally discuss. So I guess I'll turn it over to you, Alan, for how you'd like to proceed through these.
Do you want to go through each one of them individually?
So all the copies of all the applications have been included, so hopefully you've had a chance to review in advance.
You
So.
need to pull the one out.
Yes, I know I need to pull the one out, but I just want to know if they want any further discussion or information that you don't already have. Yes,
Yeah.
Abdallah.
And I know you made a good point, Chad, about, you know, the applications were below what our grant budget is. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to use that as a criteria, even though they, you know, I think we need to go
They all
through.
meet the criteria.
We need to go, they all meet the criteria, absolutely. But that doesn't mean we, you know, we have to, I think we need to look at them all individually. Absolutely. I don't know how anybody else feels.
Well,
Pardon me?
Sure.
Okay,
okay, go through them one at a time.
yeah.
Okay, so the first application that we have is from Lunenburg County Pride, and they're requesting $3,000, and that's essentially to provide support to their Pride Week celebrations that they have scheduled for this year. And of course, all the detail, I won't go through
No,
every
that's
detail,
okay.
but all the details are included in their application of what they plan to do for Pride Week celebrations this year.
So do we want to approve that, or do we not?
I'll just make.
I'm just not sure how everybody wants to proceed.
The only thing that bothers me about some of the regional ones is that some of the amounts requested are actually higher or as high as our local initiatives. And that, you know, and this is just strictly not, it's not on the merit of the application, but as a, you know, this is local money, and it kind of bothered me that, you know, some of our highest requests actually came from outside of our borders, and that just kind of bugs me a little bit that, you know, if we're gonna spend our taxpayers' money, we should try, if anything, we'd like to put it here. So that's the only thing I noticed about this application here, is that it's tied for first place in the highest request. And I found that to be a bit eyebrow raising.
And I think one of the things that we did notice is, so up until a couple of years ago, we actually didn't have a maximum amount, and so we set that at $3,000. And so it is fairly common to see applications come in that are at that maximum amount. So, but I guess to Councillor Vino's point, so one of the things that council has done in the past, especially when we were oversubscribed and didn't have enough budget, is that you actually looked at the local not-for-profit groups first and allocated funds towards them, and then some of the more regional initiatives or provincial initiatives, and you looked at them kind of secondarily to that. And then
If I can follow up, like for example, the Blandford Seasiders Seniors Club, super important group in the Blandford area. A lot of elderly people there, gives them an opportunity to gather together, it gives them a space, a camaraderie. You know, a lot of these people they live alone, and this is their community. And they're being very honest about their need and asking for $1,960, no more, not $3,000, which is the maximum. They're just saying, we need this much, and they come forward. And I have a lot of respect for an application like that because they've thought about what their real need is. And they are ones that I think historically our council would want to support a local group like that.
Yeah.
You know, whereas then sometimes I feel like there are a number of councils in our municipality, or sorry, in our county, and I think that some of our regional operations, they look at the laundry list of opportunities, and they look what the maximum are, and they go out for each at whatever that is, and they, I'm sure, have a very similar application to each one. And it just, when I think about the merit and what we value here, it's the support of our local people. Now, I guess if our total grants budget is 33 and the amount totaled to 32,409, whatever, like a little less, maybe it's okay. I don't know. That's a debate we should have. But with the taxpayer, if I were talking to somebody in the grocery store about this list, how would they feel about this list? Would they think that regional activities are as important as our local initiatives? I think not.
Is there another application date, or is this the end of it?
No, that was one of the other changes that we made, that there was a spring and the fall, and we got rid of the fall date, so there's only one
Just the
application,
one.
so there will be no additional applications for operating funds this year.
Okay, Tom?
I do support what Councillor Vina was saying. I think there's a justification in some looking at these individually. I look at the United Way, that helps everyone. That's a program. Same as Christmas Daddies. That's a huge thing. And I know through the recent visit that I will speak about later today, heritage societies, they're just asking for a modest amount because they have so much they could potentially do to grow our community history and knowledge, that I know our local one in Chester, as well as I'm sure New Ross, would appreciate being actually allowed to ask for what they need, which in Chester's case was $5,000, and I know 3 is the maximum. But I do think the value of local is important, and the commitment of what we have as community, not in only dividing things, but balancing it off, that it looks more worked on than just numbers.
The only one other additional comment I'll just make in here around the regional applications is that, sometimes these groups come and ask for advice from staff before applying, and one of the things that we always recommend is that if you're providing a regional service, is that make sure you're, in your application, that you include how those services impact local. And so I hope that you're starting to see some of that, like, for example, in the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, some of their original applications a few years ago was a little bit more broad in nature, and so we asked them to be very specific in how many people are you impacting within the municipality of Chester, and so you're seeing some of those numbers identified in there. So just to try and help council understand what the impact is of those regional services specific to the municipality of Chester. So that's just another piece of that whole conversation.
Councillor Connors?
Thank you. So in terms of Lunenburg County Pride, I'm on board with what's been put forward so far, for sure. And I guess for me, I would take a look at the fact that it is Lunenburg County-wide, and I'm aware of historically one event that they've had within our municipality, if you will, and it's Abdella, I think, over at the community park that we own, that's actually managed by the Together We Can community group, and that's a great event there. So they do events throughout the county. I get that. And there are events, or at least one event, and maybe more, in our area. As well, I believe that this municipality has, I'm going to use the word pride in a different way, is taking great pride in participating and having a float in what was 2 years ago, the first ever Lunenburg County Pride Parade, and also last year. So 2 years, we had a float, a presence in the parade. The staff and council, I was there, so it was great. So we do events, we participate regionally, so in terms of that being the Lunenburg County event, as well as their own events within our own municipality. So I'm okay, I'm absolutely on board with supporting them, I just haven't landed on a figure yet.
I guess, I just want to try to make some way for us to get through this. I mean, we have to function on our process that we have in place today. If we need to change it, I mean, I can see where we may want to change so that there's a certain amount you're allowed if you're a regional or something like that, but we got to function with what we have. Now, that doesn't mean we have to give them $3,000. I mean, if somebody wants to make a motion, we give them two, then there you go. You know, but we need to find a way to get through this list.
That was, I see that was, just to wrap this up, I'm willing to do 2,000. I don't know how the rest of the table feels, so we can move on, but 2,000 works for me.
You making a motion?
I'm making that motion.
I want to discuss.
Well, I need a second.
And then I'll discuss.
Okay, now,
I would actually reallocate some of that. I would actually, I don't know how we do this, maybe this is stupid, but to me, I would give everybody in the regional, I'd just give them all 2,000. And,
well, if you want to make that, if we amend the motion to that, then.
if you'd amend that.
And normally, just one point, so with the United Way of Lunenburg County, that $1,200 is not based on an application. So normally, we don't give, if a group applies for amount of money, we don't give them more. However, the United Way, they don't submit a formal application that's used to match staff funding, and so it just depends on what that amount is each year. So I'm just, I guess what I'm saying is $2,000
Is more than.
Is more, but that's up to council to decide how much, because that is more of a, it's not a donation, but it's more of that type of a thing rather than a formal grant request. So that would be,
Yeah,
I
we
think,
just give
appropriate.
them
If you
money.
wanted to do that, that would be appropriate.
Okay, Tina, I guess, and then I think that's the way I've
I
got it.
don't know, was Abdallah first?
Abdallah,
You go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. So in terms of United Way, and I know, I don't even know if this is appropriate, but I know that United Way also supports the Lunenburg County Senior
Oh,
Safety Partnership.
without question.
And so what's happened over the most recent years is there is a grant that United Way provides to the program. It's an official application and amount and so on. But over and above that, United Way has very much generously given us a smaller amount, not a large amount, but that can be used almost discretionary for the senior safety coordinator. So if she goes somewhere and they are in desperate need, and she recognizes that, she's able to give them a $50 gift card, not gift card, a grocery card. So United Way also is linked into programs that we support, and I don't know if it would ever work if we gave them 2,000 because I know as a Senior Safety Partnership board member that we really appreciate that United Way discretionary.
they do all kinds of good
Yeah,
stuff, there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
question.
yeah.
So do we want to give all of the regional organizations $2,000?
I just have a question about the South Shore Sexual Health Society application. And obviously they meet the criteria, but, I mean, that's sort of delving into a provincial side of thing, I assume.
So they provided their budget, and you
Yeah.
can see where
Yeah.
where their core funding comes from. And there's quite a few organizations that would get a certain amount of funding from the provincial government, and then they're obligated to raise the additional funds for whatever other community services that they provide, and so that this organization would fall into that category.
Okay, thank you.
What do we want to do? Well, I had one that doesn't, yeah.
Amend the
So I want to know if it's amended to give all the regional organizations $2,000?
I'll make that amendment.
Well, I'm fine with that as the secretary.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. So that was the amendment. Now I need a motion on the amended motion, don't I?
Yes. So somebody's going somewhere.
Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
that's generally.
So, a mover to approve the amended motion?
So moved.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. So now all the regional organizations got $2,000. Okay, so are we prepared to,
Councilor Bremner, sorry.
Councilor
I'm
Bremner?
going to get ahead of you here, I think, Warden Weber. I'd like to see all the local non-profit get three.
that I need to declare,
Oh,
right?
well, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to package this group together too.
And just approve them all?
Well, Council Connors
So I'd
is,
rather vote on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, or
Just leave hers out and deal.
okay.
Okay.
All the other 5, I would like to see us go to $3,000 where they're all local, nonprofit.
They didn't ask for it.
You can only approve what they ask for.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
No, they
I
didn't.
thought you were, because I think Andre's, or Councilor Bino's point is very real for a seniors club that's the only club in the area that does a lot of good work.
Yeah, but what road are we going down? If
Sorry.
we're- if-
Our policy
I'll
says
withdraw
5,000.
that. I'll withdraw that.
Or 3,000, sorry.
That's the maximum you can apply for, but if you don't apply for it, I mean, the other ones, we cut them. That's one thing, but to give people money more than what they asked for. If we just approved all the rest of them, with the exception of the one that Tina's,
I'll make a motion, we approve all the rest of them as presented.
except for the one Tina's, yes.
Second that.
Discussion. All
I
those
was
in-
just gonna say that I wouldn't be in favor of increasing it, because if we do that, we may as well just say we're giving $3,000 and
don't-
everybody asks
yeah.
for it, and we don't even
Doesn't
look
even
at an
matter how you
application.
need it, yeah. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Tina, you want to leave the room?
Well, no, just the two. I don't have to leave the room.
No, you don't have to leave. So this is the New Ross Regional Development Society
I
one?
think
Correct.
we gotta make it clear in the record that she.
Was it? New Ross Regional Development Society?
I'll move that we approve the amount requested, 2,500.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Yeah.
Did you, okay, can we, I think you
I'll
missed
I'll listen to the recording.
who moved and seconded the last one, Scor? Can we ask? I think you seconded,
I got that one.
and
That's the one before that.
it was the one before that one?
It was the motion to.
We'll watch the video.
Yeah, watch the video. Yeah, I don't remember, freak's sakes.
Yeah, it was going fast.
Okay, district grants.
Oh, no, we're not quite done yet.
No.
We have the community halls and the provincial
Yeah.
categories as well.
Chester Brass Band, Christmas Daddies, Rural Communities Foundation, and then the Society of Equine Assisted.
Okay, I forgot that. Where'd I put it? Well, I mean, Christmas Daddies is kind of a whatever. They don't even ask, we just give it to them.
Yeah.
Rural Communities Foundation?
And that one, I think folks will remember, Hugh McKay came in and made that presentation, and council suggested that he submit an application, so this is a result of that.
We asked him
request
to.
him.
So just, if we're commenting on individuals, so the Rural Community Foundation of Nova Scotia, I see that very similar to the discussion when we opened it up with the Lunenburg County Pride, to be honest, for me. Because again, the maximum that they could apply for was 3, so they put in for 3. So that's where I would be going. I haven't landed on a figure, but maybe it would be similar to what we did at the top of the list. I don't know.
2, yeah.
But again, it's provincial versus Lunenburg County Pride is Lunenburg County, so I guess you could argue there that we gave them 2/3. I don't know.
What
do you
about the
think?
Society of Equine Assisted Services Nova Scotia? That's
So that one's a little bit of an interesting one, so, if folks had chance to go through it, so, this really initiated with Hinchinbrook Farms, which is a facility in Blockhose, and so I know we're very familiar because we have a lot of our Pro Kids families that we support through that facility, and so they do any of these facilities that do equine therapy, so it's essentially horse therapy. So if folks have disabilities of some type or whatever challenges that they may have, the therapy with horses is pretty amazing. And so what this is that those facilities have kind of come together to form a brand new provincial organization. So they're still operating independently, but they're part of this new provincial organization. And so they're looking for funding as they just get started. One of the things they need to have is a website, and that's in particular what they're asking for from council is to support as they get started to help them in that process. So that's what that application is all about.
Yes, Tina.
So, because, the connection for me is Pro Kids and the impact to the residents of the municipality of the District of Chester. And so for me, I'm in favor of the full amount of what they're asking for. Just again, I'm just putting it out there. I know we're discussing it. So that's where I've landed on that one, 2589.25, because again of the pro kids and the impact and the numbers and so on. So, thank you.
Okay, so what do we want to do with these three? Sharon?
Well, I think to be consistent, considering what we did with the regional, I would be prepared to give, for the bottom two, $2,000 each,
And
Keeping
$100
like-
to Christmas Daddies.
and $100 to the Christmas Daddies. And I think obviously we see a need going forward that we revamp these applications because we need to, you know, focus
some
more
more.
on our local nonprofit. And I mean, they're all good services, but I think to be consistent, I would be prepared to move that.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
I
Good.
think we still need Chester Brass Band. was
Oh,
some of
yeah.
the other ones.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do Chester Brass Band, $2,100, Russ. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Now, Tina, we gotta deal with your one, do we?
We already did.
No, we've done that one.
Oh, we already
Yeah,
did
we've
that,
done
okay, can't. Oh, yeah, that's right, she left, yeah. Didn't leave, but sort of.
Now you know why we're confused.
Okay. 12.4, district grants. Chester Municipal Heritage Society freight shed upgrades are looking for $2,000 in District 3. And District 3 has also been requested to give Chester United Soccer Association $800.
Yeah, and there was one late one that was added.
10 beaches.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
10 beaches, yes.
Or 500.
So, what do we want to do, people? Yeah, you're comfortable in your districts with the applications? Somebody prepared to move, we approve them?
I can second it, but I'd like this discussion, I've spoken to Tom and agreed to split that one with my district for the
Which one, sorry?
soccer jerseys, the $800.
Oh,
So 400 each?
Yeah.
400 each, and so the motion just will reflect that. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay, 12.5, request appointment of FSANS alternate director, corporate and strategic management.
Do you want to speak to it, Bruce?
Yeah, we had a vacancy or have a vacancy in our representation with the Fire Services Association of Nova Scotia, FSANS, and as alternate director. So we went out to the chiefs as per our procedure, got nominations from the chiefs, and went through the election process with all of them, all 7. So my request this morning is that you accept the nomination and the election of Arthur Vardas from Blandford Fire Rescue to serve as the alternate fire director, alternate director for FSANS.
So moved by Tom, seconded by Abdullah. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you very much. We'll have a vendor sent on. Thank you.
Development agreement application, Marco Farrow, East River Village. We've been waiting all morning for that one.
Clear conflict. I learned this morning that my company is involved with some of the planning activity on this project.
Okay, so let the minutes reflect that Councillor Vino has declared a conflict.
Elvis has left the building.
All right. Well, good morning, council. Yeah, to cap off the meeting today, we have a new application for a development agreement for primarily a residential development in the East River area. It's been dubbed East River Village, And going through our, I guess, our relatively new practice of, we typically, or previously would have come for a request for direction to proceed, but we deemed that that wasn't really necessary to have a motion, so this is really just an information report for councils and the public to be aware that there is an application in the works, and of course, there'll be more meetings to come with more information. But essentially, there is one primary parcel of land and another small secondary PID that would be involved in this. The application is for 280 single-unit dwellings, as well as a commercial space that would contain a number of apartments that would be located closer to Highway 329. And then there is it's a little bit small as it got sized down here, but in the report, there is a rough site plan to show just the general layout of the road network and the residential properties. So, yeah, the application has been received, fees have come in, and staff are just kind of beginning the review of the plans, and we'll work with the applicant to get all the details that we need to bring the file forward to public information meeting, planning advisory, and then ultimately back to council for a decision. So, yeah, so I would say so far everything is looking really positive about this one. It's certainly the kind of thing that we've been talking about in terms of the need for housing, and this style tends to help keep costs down, which is also a positive thing. So, yeah, basically, if there are any questions at this point, I'd be happy to try to answer those, and as well, the applicant is here and has been patiently waiting this morning, so I'm sure he'd be happy to speak if there's any questions. But basically, like I said, it's just for information at this time to give the basics, and the next steps, of course, would be to hold a public information meeting when we get a few more details worked out, and then it would go to the Municipal Planning Advisory Committee and then back to council.
Well, there's no action required on our part.
No, not at this point, no.
Just curious where it is on
Yeah,
East
so-
River Road, location?
Yeah, so it's on the 329 in East River. It's hard to.
Near what? The,
Yeah, Marco might be able to describe.
Across from, Lloyd's Landing, if you know that development where they went down by the water.
Yes.
Actually, where the road comes up to the top will be where one of our entrances are. There'll be two entrances, one there and one on the other side of the
oh,
property.
okay.
Yeah.
Go sit here?
Yeah, come on up, yeah.
I would request that you could speak to it a little bit if you would.
Yeah.
Thank you. My name's Marco. I'm one of the partners in the group. I'm not the only one. I'm the kind of a construction guy, and then we have money people backing us, and we have other construction people that'll help with every section of our project.
Great, because.
Yeah, so the intent is to be, sort of a phased development. Obviously, 280 units aren't gonna go up all at once, but it would be built, working back from the road inland.
So are you have a timeline sort of to start the project in your view?
Though if we get through this process with you guys, our plan is to have depending on what they give us for land value after we reevaluate, like they'll give us a land loan, we will either be building 8 this year at the end of this year or 4, just depending on where we get to through the year.
Thank you.
And we have examples of other projects. Chester Hills is kind of proceeding in a similar sort of ways.
Yeah. Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber, through you to the rest of the council and our guests. First of all, this is definitely what we talked about, growth and where we're at and all those wonderful things that can come out of it. I know there's always concerns. Just for clarification, it goes in at East River, and the other end is on the 329 by Milk Cove?
No, so
it's a little hard to see in your
I'm confused what I'm
package,
looking
yeah.
at.
So both access points are
Off
onto
from
the
329.
329. So it's almost like a big U. if you
Okay,
want to think
that's,
of it that way, yeah.
sorry, I
it's about
misunderstood that.
600 meters down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And
then it
we've
comes
already
back
done a
out.
traffic impact statement, so
Yeah.
it looks like everything will fit. We have all the sight lines, everything of that nature. It depends on if the Department of Transportation, who won't get back to us for over a few months, because they have nobody to tell them that they have to. When they get back to us, they'll tell us if we need a study, but from any development I've ever seen, there's not enough traffic on that road to require a study. So if they do that, that's just because I've been hassling them a lot, and then they're gonna be a jerk to me.
And my final supplemental question, Is this in the area where Hollyhock Lake is further down, the lake?
The lake is a little farther down.
Thank you, now I exactly know where we're talking.
Yeah, it's real handy to the highway. Did you say about 5 minutes to the
It
exit seven?
actually is, we timed it doing the speed limit is 4 minutes and 45 seconds to get on the highway.
Yeah, so it's,
Thank you.
I thought so. I hope so. And we're doing a lot of other little community initiatives to try to help. We're trying to
Yeah.
talk to the federal government. Heather Archibald's helped us and Danielle Barkos has helped us to try to get us access. It backs on to the Aspetogan Golf Course through federal land. So we're trying to get a right of way from them to cut back there. And the other thing that our community group's trying to do is we realize that doctors in Nova Scotia don't make as much, so it makes it very hard to find family practice or nurse practitioners because of the cost of owning your own clinic and renting out the space. So in our development, in our commercial plaza, we're actually working with the Nova Scotia Health Authority. They've done it in BC where they've subsidized their place, so we would give them free rent and subsidize it with the rest of the commercial space. But they would have to take on as well the clients that live in the community. So to provide doctors not to put any extra stress on an infrastructure that's already overly stressed.
Sounds like a good project. Clarissa, you?
Thank you. So you said that it backs up to the Aspetogan Golf Course.
Yep.
Is there entrance and exit going to be on that back end as well? Or just going to
This
butt up
is
against, right?
preliminary, so what
Yeah.
we're trying to do is work with the federal government that they'll donate us the land. And Jed and them are very happy if we can get it through. We've already talked to the Heritage Trust about whether we could be considered kind of part of it, and if we donate a portion of each sale to them, if they would give us cheaper memberships at the golf course for that
Absolutely,
community.
a good incentive.
And so they were very receptive of that, I should say.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other questions? Because there's no decision of council,
Nope,
this is
that's
just
right.
letting us know it's in the
You can
process.
decide yes today if you want. I won't be upset.
Okay, thank you very
we have an
much.
exciting project and yeah, more to come.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
It's good to
I live
have,
in your territory.
it's good that stuff is taking place that we have to deal with, yeah. Okay, 12.7. Request for decision, designated community fund, community development recreation. Oh, yeah, you're left. Can't even keep track of where I am.
So we're going to designate community fund request for Chester Minor Hockey in the amount of $1,000. And so I guess for student government, the way that this works is the municipality accepts donations from the community, and those donors are able to designate where they want the funds to go. And then at a certain point in time, the group comes back and requests a grant in the amount of the donations that have come in. And so Minor Hockey has done that and has submitted the request for $1,000.
So we're just releasing the funds.
Correct.
Moved?
Yes.
Seconded? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. And that was Tom and Abdella. Mover and seconder. You got it? Okay, so now I'm on to the stuff that we added. Oh, new motion for the Mike Keddy thing. Where did I put that? Yeah. So it was just some wording changes.
It's basically-
It's additional
Well, it
direction.
implements the previous motion, which was approving going ahead with it. This is according to the act. This is the way-
Yeah, so we just need to approve this motion.
That's right.
Discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion's carried. And now I am, Abdella, flower baskets.
Thank you, Warden Weber. As you all know, the Public Works Department has done a wonderful job at the Wild Rose Park over the last little while, making it beautiful for everybody in the municipality.
You must really want something, you're being
And,
awfully nice.
And what I'm humbly asking council to approve is, as you know, there are flower pots within that park, and you know, they've been there every year, and I've sort of looked after it, and one thing to another, the lady that supplied the baskets and the maintenance couldn't do it anymore. The staff here can't, because I looked at bringing the back, but anyway, to make a long story short, I would request that we I guess, direct Public Works to perhaps put a tender out to put flower pots in the municipal park, at Wild Rose Park. If you ever walk by there, like I do probably every day, it's used by a ton of people from everywhere. And it adds beauty to the park. And we do wreaths in the winter, but that's a different ballgame, because they don't need the maintenance.
Less trouble.
So, less trouble. So I respectfully ask that we put a motion to ask Public Works to make that request.
Okay, it's not in our budget, but that doesn't mean that we can't do it. It is our park.
It's our park, and, you know, we've done a lot of projects throughout the municipality. We're doing sidewalk projects, and we're doing sewer projects, and we're doing other things, so I just felt it was, thank you.
Andre?
Thank you. I must confess, I'm not familiar with the flower baskets at the Wild Rose Park. But we do have other areas of our municipality which there are hanging baskets and flowers and this sort of temporary beautification efforts. And I believe in Chester, the baskets are administered by the Village Commission and they levy taxes to support that. I believe in Hubbard,
Chester Basin is volunteer.
Volunteer, and now, and Hubbard's, do you have some as well? Yes. And how are those administered? Yeah, so this is something that, you know, again, you know, far be it for me to be a big policy guy, but, you know, we have to think about this for a moment. Now, recognizing, of course, this is a slight twist on this scenario because this is a park, but I guess I just don't know enough about what these baskets are, and, you know, is this, because do you have hanging baskets as well? And how is that, and how does that, or is this the same?
They're hanging baskets. The biggest issue is getting them watered all the time.
So basically what happens is the staff, as a rule, sometimes the staff will hang them. But depending on what the tenders put out as, they would probably hang them. And of course, whoever does it would have to have, you know, they would have to comply with everything municipality with liability and all that jazz. And I do agree, Andre, it's a different, but this is a municipal park, and if there was any way other way around it, but it's, you know, it just adds a lot of beautification to the park. It's important for me, and it's important for the municipality. I mean, we're having a grand opening, as you will, next Friday of the new washroom facilities, and I don't know if you've been over there, but Kirby Reeves is, excuse me, they just landed a wonderful ramp there, and to my knowledge, they're gonna be putting a Mobi-Map there, and I've had a lot of comments about the park and how people are really excited about everything that's been done there, the handicap stuff. So I just think this is another part of it, and I'll leave it at that.
Tina?
Thank you. So I certainly respect Councillor Vino's comments, input, and we do have beautification projects, flower baskets, fall wreaths, et cetera, throughout the municipality. And I can reference New Ross because it gives me the opportunity right now to do it. So certainly in New Ross, it's headed up by the Charing Cross Garden Club, who are, like the rest of us, aging, and so on, and becoming fewer and farther between in some respects, right? So, but it's still a very big success. The community is behind that. As individuals, we donate cash dollars. I do as an individual, not through council. And the commercial district also contributes, and it's a hefty budget because we do need the watering piece. So, but it has continued to flourish. Oh, no pun intended. But But we do a district council grant of $500 through the district council fund, and I'm gonna continue to do that, or bring it to council table anyway. But this is a municipal park, this is municipal property, and so I'm in full support of what Deputy Warden Asaph is bringing to the table today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing it either, but I do know that in Chester Basin, the baskets are all done by volunteers, have been, and they're getting older, and they certainly didn't follow any of the appropriate safety precautions when they watered them and things like that. But they're in our sidewalk, so they're on municipal property, and I just know that if, you know, that, yeah, that we're gonna, if we do it in Western Shore, then I'm gonna be asked why we don't do it in Chester Basin.
And this, I guess, is where I could return to. So we have in our municipality 5 hamlets or villages, sort of it's not urban, but it's more dense. And each of those have the same scenario where we have this temporary beautification, which we do in the summertime through hanging flowers or whatever. So, you know, I'm not opposed to the idea that's been presented, but what we have to ensure that we do is something that's able to be applied in a uniform way, so that you're not confronted with these very questions which are difficult to answer, why it is that we would treat one jurisdiction differently than another. So I don't have any such jurisdiction in my district. I'm one of the 2 districts that does not have one of these hamlets. But I can see the wisdom in having some sort of policy or budgetary item or whatever to treat them in a uniform fashion.
Tara wants to
Yeah.
offer some.
So just to try and get us to a next step, I think there's a couple options. You could approve this as a one-off, but I'm hearing that there are implications for doing that as a one-off. So you could, I see 2 options. You could refer this to the discussion that we have around the beautification program and the strategic priority there for consideration. That, because we're looking at a bigger beautification project, that may take a little longer. If you wanted to address it more quickly and try to have that something for midsummer, we could refer just the flower basket issue on municipal property to a policy and strategy session in June, if you'd like. And it would just be a standalone one-off item.
Yes, Abdallah.
Yeah, I'd like to be in place, and you know, I was gonna put a motion on the floor, but I would actually put a motion on the floor that this be handled as a one-off. And then we do a further discussion, because I feel very strongly about this. If I didn't, I wouldn't be bringing it forward. I mean, I represent the people in my district, but it's the park is used by everybody there. And you know, on the whole scheme of things, you know, we're spending money in a lot of places as well, which I think is a great idea, don't get me wrong. But I feel very strongly about this, and we did without them last year. And that's because the park was under renovation, and it's not now. And I feel strongly about having them there this year. That's all I'll say.
Tina?
Thank you. I very rarely agree with Deputy Warden Asaph, no, I do. But I'm in agreement with what he's just put forward there. I think that I would be of the belief that we do this right now in terms of getting ready for the summer. So, because sometimes our policy and strategy meetings might be in June, then we're into the fall. So again, we're gonna vote, but if Deputy Warden, okay, and I'll second the motion to do that as a one-off right now.
So it'll be a 1 year until we resolve it and come up with a policy.
Yep.
So the motion's on the floor, people. Sharon?
Are we going to put a limit on this, or if it's like $20,000, are we
No,
going to
it's-
go ahead?
Well,
or-
I would say,
Well, somebody has to tell us.
depending on who it is, I mean, I don't know, you know, things go up. It's probably about $4,000 or $5,000, give or take. Oh, sorry.
No, she put it on.
Okay. My experience. So we'll use a figure of between $5,000 and $10,000. I mean, that's high, in my view, but.
That is high.
But you gotta remember that
It's a
this,
hefty
it's a lot
cost.
of work. It's not just hanging the baskets. If it was just hanging the baskets, that's not an issue. It's easy. It's the maintenance. And everybody just can't do the maintenance. You just can't throw somebody up there to do it. Anyway, the motion's on the floor.
Yeah, so Andre.
I don't like one-off policy. I will be voting against it. I think that if you want to support it quickly, you have tools at your disposal through your district grant that you could engage with some group to hire a private sector person to get these baskets in place, and then we can deal with it globally and to make sure that we have a good, robust policy. I think I'm not in favor of moving forward with a one-off policy. I'd like to be more thoughtful about this. I will be voting against it.
I just like to say that I did have, it was done through a district grant forever. And now that's not an option for me because the lady that does it, there's nobody to, she does not do it, and that's why I brought it forward. And I appreciate the fact that you don't support it. I don't like it, but I appreciate it, that's all. That's democracy.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
2 against.
Yeah,
This is a one-off.
yeah,
It's in the motion.
yeah. And they're gonna come back with,
It's not
Yeah.
on the motion, it's not on the motion.
Oh.
Still, sorry, it's not on the motion, it's after. So,
okay.
Thank you. So I just want to go off script a little bit. So Abdallah, I did not realize that there was a grand opening of our washrooms next Friday.
Well,
What time?
I just received the email from
Right,
Public Works.
okay.
I think it's at 1 o'clock.
Okay, so I just wanted to.
Well, maybe we can
yeah,
get Public
yeah,
Works to send it to
yeah.
everyone.
So I just wanted to say, I do have a schedule for next Friday, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to be there.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm going to be there, proudly so, because of my connection back in the early 90s, when Calvin Delory was the counselor here at the time. I wasn't on council. I was a staff person here in the Economic Development Department.
Yep.
And worked on that project. And the time of our meetings were every Sunday at 2 o'clock, Western Shore Fire Department. And we met as a community of interest to see that project happen along that whole waterfront. So I'm going to be there with my memories
Yeah,
intact.
no, that, it was quite an undertaking.
Absolutely. Good for the community.
I'll just add, we'll send the invitation to all of council. My apologies, I.
when
was
is
under
it,
the
when is it,
understanding-
Sunday or?
Friday.
Friday, okay, I can't keep track of it. Well, the RCMP are doing a boating safety thing in Chester Basin on Saturday and,
Councilor Vino had his mic.
oh, sorry.
Just one thing, since we're off script, I just want to say that unfortunately, I'm going to publicly give my regrets. I will be in Alberta. I wish I could be there. Sewage is very important to me, central in my life.
Yes.
And I wish I could be there for the inaugural flush. But unfortunately, I can't make it.
I'll send the regrets in the official statement that.
Okay, we're moving along, people. Tom, you're next on the list.
Thank you, Warden Weber. I'm going to tie a couple of things in together here with our guests today. Education is so important. I'm so glad you're here today. I've said it a few times. I mean it. It's exciting to have you here, and it's both hopefully educational and something you'll consider down the road in time. Saying that, I just, with a number of my other colleagues here and some staff, attended the spring conference of the NSFM, Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. And I want to tell you, I really think we need to have a report from our group, and I'm going to speak for myself here, how wonderful it is to get out with a number, I think about 130 CA, asking to see, I think it was about 130 people were there.
Elected officials.
Elected officials
officials.
were there. I went to 7 sessions, and there were a number of items that really stuck out to me. There was one presented, I hope I pronounce this right, Kevin Latimer, presented a topic about councils and how they work, function, and what they need to be looking at. And I will tell you what was an eye-opener for me, and I really mean this. Streamlining, and after today's challenges, I must say, and I'm not criticizing anyone, we've had our share of challenges here today, and I'm sure the public goes, what do they really understand, or what are we trying to do? We need to work on that, and I really think this was an opportunity through that session to educate myself and others that were in the room. The second thing that I really liked about the conference was the socializing And the third was I got to spend about 30 minutes one-on-one with our current president of the NSFM, and Pam Moody, who is currently the mayor of Yarmouth, has got her act together and knows exactly what we need to do, and she's got an amazing energy, and I speak very highly of her after speaking with her, and I learned a lot. And she invited me to be able to reach out to her, as any of us can, and I really compliment her for her efforts and energy. We have presentations from government, we have presentations from diversity and equality, and all kinds of wonderful things. So, and the Truro town hosted us wonderfully. Our group socialized some together, which was great, and we had learning opportunities in that. I can't thank you enough for that opportunity to go and look to others when we can do the same. And I know other councillors feel exactly the same way I do. For those who were able to attend, thank you. It was great. That's number one for me.
New Ross visit.
Number two, through some dialogue, I first want to thank Councillor Connors for an amazing day that myself and Councillor Coolin did last Friday of the community of New Ross and surrounding areas. We talked about it for about a month. It finally happened. We stopped, I think, at 7 locations. I may be wrong on numbers exactly. We met many wonderful people, and I compliment the community of New Ross for putting their act together about their community. I am pro-municipality. I'm pro-balanced understanding of growth and everything they've done. Ruby's Trail, an amazing place to visit. The opportunity to be there for the first time and see everything was incredible. I just can't say enough, and I hope we'd encourage that through our own different areas of districts, because I didn't know this all about New Ross, and I've lived here all my life, and was pleased to be able to do that. And I thank you, Councillor Connors, for that opportunity.
Great day.
Okay, thank you.
Great day.
A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you to this.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're.
You coming to eat with us now?